This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I can't actually type in the chat. I was trying to chat with you guys the entire time, but I wasn't able to do so. And yeah, the Blazer game was a preseason game, but yeah, they got killed again, two nights in a row by the same team. Yeah, I can't type anything in. I don't know what the deal is. But here's the thing, it's like, I don't know why anybody would get... I might even go down further with mods, okay? Because here's the thing, I had 80 mods, and I went down to 35. I mean, even going down to 35, it's still, there's a lot in there. Hey, all right, Cairo. Thanks, man. You got your Anadarko? Well, thank you. Yeah. No, I would be going backwards, Ashlila, not adding more. Thank you. I'm not sure what's going on. And sooner history, don't feel bad. There's, a whole bunch of people. See, the thing is, it's mainly the people that are here a lot and they're actually doing mod stuff, or a really good ambassador, like Stacy. I don't think Stacy has it in her heart to be blocking and putting people on timeout, but she's like an ambassador type. Yeah, the thing is here's what I hope. I hope if I removed every single one of you as mods, you'd still be here, because then it makes me feel like you only really liked it here because you're a moderator. I mean, but being a moderator doesn't really, it's just kind of, I don't know what to say. It doesn't, I don't feel any higher about you because you're a moderator. It's just sort of like, oh wow, maybe they'd like to be a moderator at some point, I still like everybody the same amount. Like as soon as like Susanna right there, I feel exactly the same about her. I don't have any. How do you not like Susanna, man? When she calls in with, yeah, and look at green is actually better for and it's an Irish type color, right? Like so, yeah. Yeah, there's still a ton of mods right now, even though I removed 50. I mean, it's crazy. And then I was chatting the whole time. I was getting upset with some of the, the comments people were making, like they just felt so slighted. And it's like, look at Jamie McLaughlin. I haven't made, they're not a mod, and they don't, there's no complaining or anything. It's just everybody respects everybody, and oh, good. As long as you're serious, Susanna. You're not in third grade? Yep. Yeah, it was weird. I was trying to type stuff in the entire time, And then one time I typed in all bold, "Can anybody see me?" And not one person responded. And then I reloaded the chat. Let me ask you this. Can you see now? Hello! Can you see that right there? I just typed hello in. Okay, what can you see? Can you see the please support the channel auto thing there? Okay, watch this. Watch this. So you can see the chat over here, right? This is my chat. Watch this. Hello, hello. Watch that. Now it's in there. You can see it going up right there, right? See the hello right there? Can you see that one? On your chat. So that's crazy, right? There it was. See, I'll put this whole, just do and symbols. Well, I don't even want to do that. They'll get... So there you go. Pretty weird. I don't know what's going on. So, but you could see the one that was done by Streamlabs, though, right? The one about PayPal. That's crazy. Anyways, thanks, Cairo and Brian Joe up there. And let's see, Rebecca N, Lee D, Sarita, Kit Kat. All right, so here we go.
Happy birthday to Zozo.
Hey, what about me? I want to do it. Happy birthday to Zozo. Happy birthday, Mrs. Zozo. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Well, there you go. That wasn't as good as the Marilyn Monroe version, was it? I didn't think so. And yes, Sooner History. I know you've been around a long time. You know, I don't know if you're in there moderating all the time. Like it, just having the blue thing doesn't mean. I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah, it's gives somebody a power to hide somebody or block them or whatever, but it's like some people never even use it. So, anyways, how did Mary Lou do right there? Was it pretty good? Yeah. Yes, and Carolina 2 was right. I was watching the Blazers. I'm going to have to do that. I was just trying to watch. Yeah, I just want to see if anybody's shooting good. Looks like they need to have their next 3 days of practice. Yeah. Okay, hey, you're not too bad there. You did very well, Mary Lou.
Oh, thanks. I really tried hard.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, the duck game? That's funny. The Blazers were getting... Who won the duck game? They were up by a mile early, but I don't know if they lost it or who's ahead or what's going on. Right. Well, what's the score is what I was trying to get. Oh, so it's close. Getting close, huh? Well, thanks, Cindy Lynn. You know, she's been practicing hard. I know that. Well, you're one of the few people you're one of the people I want to make laugh, James.
Mary Lou continues to grow in musical talent.
And who has the ball? Does USC have it? Yeah. I don't know. I root for the Ducks when they're playing anybody but the Beavers, so I want them to win. But, I don't know. The Beavers did beat the Ducks this year. That's all that matters. So, you know, I was going to talk about, I don't know if you guys have been following along that, just a quick, the cyber deal that's going on. It's pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys heard, I mean, I didn't realize the extent and how they did it. It's pretty crazy. Here, I'm going to read through this thing. Here, just listen to this. U.S. government cyber experts are working furiously in secure offices around the globe, sifting through computer traffic to figure out which federal systems have been penetrated in the sweeping cyber spying attack that the FBI warned this week is significant and ongoing. It's still going on. They can't stop it. Suspected Russian hackers have broken into sensitive U.S. government computer networks from the Pentagon to the Department of Energy, as well as top U.S. private businesses, rummaging around in them and likely reading emails and gathering data. Jeez. The Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity, and Infrastructure Security Agency called the attack, which started in March or possibly earlier, a grave risk to the U.S. government. Experts from both the government and top U.S. private firms compromised in the attack are taking whole sections of their computer networks offline or quarantining them for deeper forensic dive to figure out what was copied or taken. Now, this is the part that gets crazy. Listen to this one. The hackers exploited a little-known but widely used software program called Orion, made by cyber company SolarWinds, whose clients lists include the Office of U.S. President, the Pentagon, NASA, NSA, all 5 branches of the U.S. military, and most of the Fortune 500 companies, including the top 10 U.S. Communications companies. The Austin, Texas-based company removed its client list from its website after reporting the hack may have affected some 18,000 customers. Oh, man. And watch when you figure out how this happened. It's crazy. The company says it has been advised that the nature of this attack indicates that it may have been conducted by an outside nation state and is urging clients to update their systems to remove the threat. The company did not immediately respond to the request for comment. So here's what the deal was. Is the hackers, you know, normally what they do is they send phishing emails to somebody at a business. And if they word it correctly and it sounds like it's legit, somebody might open it up and click on an attachment that installs software on your machine, and then it allows them access. In this case, what they did was they hacked into the company Orion, and they have a platform on there. Listen to this, everybody. Listen how crazy this is. Just focus for a second. They hacked into Orion, and they have a platform on there that creates the updates for all of their clients. And they went in there and they planted some software into the update. So when Orion sent out their emails to everybody saying, hey, everybody, here's an update, you know, that's totally trusted. Nobody would think about it. And then they all updated their software programs, and boom, it got put in there, and it gave them like God, you know, what do they call it? Like God, I can't remember the actual next term, but they can go in there, they can do whatever they want, and they're not seen doing it. It's crazy. I don't even know how they determined that it was happening. Let's see. Let's see if the word shows up. Okay, it's right here. The Orion software is used to monitor and manage computer systems. the kind of program an in-house IT tech might use to remotely fix an employee's computer when it has a meltdown. The hackers essentially piggybacked on the Orion program software updates, so when users updated their systems, they unwittingly uploaded malware that gave the hackers a backdoor, explains Dmitry, probably a counter, a double agent or whatever the hell that guy is, former co-founder and CTO of cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. His former cybersecurity company was hired by the Democratic National Committee when its emails were hacked in 2016, which the FBI later attributed to Russia. When the update came down, it basically was a master key for the Russians to get access to every single one of these systems. Alperovich says, calling it a hack of a decade and one of the most significant cyber espionage operations in history. Though it apparently did not penetrate classified systems, he says, citing conversations with industry insiders. Anyways, I thought I'd, put that out there. It's pretty, absolutely nuts, So that's not good news. But hey, one side benefit is maybe we'll get to see some crazy emails again. That people were, wouldn't it be interesting if it came out where there was some collusion on some of this stuff that went on just recently? No, it couldn't easily be countered. Sorry. You always got these experts that show up. Oh yes, I'm a hacker. I get onto the dark web, everybody, and I really understand the. Give me a break, all right? It's not. Yeah, they infected the. They got a hold. That's a genius move on the hackers' part, is they hacked, which is weird, a security company that's supposed to be really secure, but they went in that angle. And knowing that they update all of these different systems all around our government, and they actually got it done. They got their little piece malware into the updates, and just think about it. When they realize, holy shit, they actually installed this. Boom. And it's just, and that's a freaking nightmare. Think about it. Freaking nightmare. Okay, so that was what I figured you guys... Now you guys at least know the generality of it, and you could speak mildly intelligently about it and know what the hell somebody's saying. When they mention the hack, you can now understand exactly what in the hell they're talking about, okay? Maybe not have the deep inside knowledge, but, I mean, of course you're not as knowledgeable as Bambino Ludovate. Man, that guy, if he was working for the government, could have easily countered it, man. He would have got right in there and stopped it all from happening. Let's see. And I'm just teasing you, Bambino, but when you make a comment like, oh, it could have easily been countered. Yes, if they'd only had my expertise. Yeah, that's not what happened here. The firm is where it happened, Bambino. So you've got it all wrong. It was at they actually hacked into, if you were listening though. No, you're wrong actually, Bambino. They hacked into the platform at the software company and uploaded a piece of malware into the actual code for the updates that were then sent out to these companies. And of course, they're going to trust okay, this is an update. It's a secure system. It's an update. But the update itself had the virus in it. Okay? So don't pretend that had you been working there, it would have all been fixed. Okay? Because that's just not true. Oh, good. They won. All right. Sweet. Yeah. All right. So now moving on to I guess in England here, this crazy horror at the hostel As police investigate dead woman found in a suitcase by a shocked decorator after neighbors. And I don't think we spell neighbors like this, do we? Reported foul-smelling odor. Or that, right? That lasted weeks, with murder squad now ready to join investigation. I was thinking, wow, so Paul holes and everything? But I think they're just talking about what they call them over there. A woman's dead body has been discovered inside a suitcase at a London hostel by a shocked painter after neighbors reported a foul-smelling odor that lasted for weeks. Forensic crews were seen entering hostels above a parade of shops in Southall Friday night following the grim discovery at around 3 p.m. Locals say a painter had visited the hostel on Friday afternoon only to discover the body of a female in a suitcase above a salon in the Crescent shops underneath the pay sleep hostels tonight. I mean, I could easily go there. You can see the street right there. It's pretty wild, huh? I mean, we, you know, what's weird is it's just weird because, oh my God, it's going on in England. If that was over here, it'd be like, yeah. Okay, we've heard about these. I mean, I don't even know how many cases we've talked about where there's a body in a suitcase. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess what, man, it sounds like somebody's out on the loose. Hey, Top Cop. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that one. I just want to let you know that that's something that's happening right now. And then I'll see if there's more, you know, just interesting information on it. But there was a suitcase with a body in it found in the UK. Yeah, I can see that we're back to the everybody's talking about something else kind of thing. I'm going to switch over now. So here's something cool. Colleen Fitzpatrick, you know, the founder of the DNA Dope Project, but now has her own company called Identifinders. She's had it for a while, but now that's her focus. And it's more, you know, trying to identify killers via DNA. And maybe even crime victims, I think. But she sent me an email with four or five cases. And I said, well, what I'll do is I'll look them up and we'll talk about them. And we'll see if, you know, which ones we're interested in. Okay? And then what was interesting is one of the ones she sent me was one that I think I talked about on here. If not, I even had the Google Earth folders and everything. But it was these 3 killings in Eugene, Oregon. Ironically, since the Ducks were playing. But, you know, it was back in, I think, the early 80s, if I remember right. And I had all 3 of the names and everything sitting there. So hopefully, you know, it'd be interesting if that was one of the ones that we chose. Because at one time they were working with Parabon. Because they actually have one of the phenotype snapshot products. Yeah. So I'm going to go over those right now. Oh yeah, before I do that though, I was going to go over this one. I got another, you know, people send me different cases. This is one from today. It's not a case from today, but somebody sent it to me today. So it's an interesting, I thought it seems like maybe a trucker on this one again. And somebody made a comment on one of my videos. They said, keep digging for truckers. And I'm like, what does that even mean, just to type that in? It's just, why don't you put a full sentence every once in a while, you know? It's just... All right, so it says dead women identified as transient. I don't think that was correct, which, you know, pretty bogus. Through fingerprints, Lee County Sheriff deputies. This is 1989, Fort Myers, Florida, December 21st. This one right here is not one of the ones that Colleen was talking about. Found Sunday in a wooded area near Southwest Florida Regional Airport as a 25-year-old transient named Coleen Marie England. Sheriff's Department officials, she wasn't a transient. Department officials released the results of their testing Wednesday. England hung around Fort Myers for some time, but had no permanent address, said Robert Graziano, sheriff's spokesman. I don't know. I don't think this is accurate here. England's last known address was Lee County Jail, Graziano said. She was released November 13th. England had served time in connection with charges of grand theft auto, retail theft, solicitation for prostitution. Well, you know, if this is all real stuff here, you know, then it's real. It wasn't in some of the other articles that were later. So maybe, you know, if this is true right here, that she was a sex worker, then that might go right up the alley of, you know, a trucker. You know, because she was found at a rest area that it seems like truckers go in. And I know. The thing is truck drivers, you know, let's just say 1 in 1,000 is up to no good. You're talking about the tiny, tiny number. All I ever say on the show is that if you are a serial killer, being a trucker is a very good thing to be if you're a serial killer, because it's so easy. You just you go to one of your truck stops, a sex worker gets into your vehicle, nobody even knows who the hell you are. You kill, you know, you do what you're doing, you kill them, you dump their body, and you just drive, and then you're thousands of miles away within a day, and nobody knows who the hell you are, right? So it's a perfect job for a serial killer. But I'm not saying that there are, you know, that's it's prevalent in the trucking community. I'm just saying we stumble across them from time to time. Yeah, I don't think so, Rebecca. Yeah, not too many serial killer cops. I know that people like to keep bashing on them over and over again. It's nowhere near the same, because they live in the same community and everything like that. You know, nowhere near as many. I mean, I know that there are cops that have killed, so don't go, no, Gray, there's just one time where this guy... I don't need to hear it, okay? I'm just saying it's nowhere near the trucking deal. Sheriff Department officials released the results of their last testing. When England's body was discovered under a palmetto bushes about 200 yards east of an Interstate 75 rest area near Daniels Road. See, I think I've got these videos here, and let's see where I think this is Daniels Road right here. And I know that in the video that I was watching, it looked like the family was right here at this little rest area, and then it seemed like they were right here where they were placing flowers. Okay, so I don't know what it looked like. I mean, if I could go back, let's see what it looked like in 1994. Okay, that one doesn't show up. 95. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's worlds different. A lot easier at that point. Look what it looks like in 94. This is only 5 years later. 95, actually. That's so 6. But notice how this whole place isn't even cut down. It's just thick trees right in that area. And now if you get that off, look at it now. Wide open. Yeah. Okay. At the time of her death, the blonde-haired, green-eyed, 5'8", 120 pounds, and was wearing wedding ring, investigators said. Graziano said the sheriff's department had no idea about suspects or motives in England's case. It's not England, it's England. Or Egland. And then, I don't know, 2 months later, I'm going to use this to look into some other cases, because look at what they were showing here is there was a wave remaining unsolved murders. The killer or killers of at least 16 Lee County women murdered since 1975 haven't been caught. But this article itself was from 1995, so some of these may have been solved since then. But it says investigators say they haven't linked any of the murders. And it says, has the first wave, 75 to 80, these different individuals. So maybe we can go through all of these. The second wave is 84 to 89. Yeah, right there. And then we've got the third wave of these individuals right here. And Colleen is actually, I think she was in, she's in the 84 to 89 one right there. So that showed up. That was the only other article that I could find. Okay. Then, here we go.
Body was found 31 years ago. Her family held a night on the spot where Coleen England's body was found 31 years ago. Her family held a vigil in her honor today, holding out hope that her killer will one day be found. Fox 4's Rob Manch is at the rest stop on Daniels Parkway where Coleen was found with further details tonight.
Colleen's family placed these roses on the spot where her body was found 31 years after her death. Today, I spoke with Colleen's daughter, who was forced to grow up without her mother.
Erica must have been about 1.5 here.
Pictures are the only way Erica Platone ever got to know her mother.
It's kind of hard to tell someone that their parent was murdered, so...
Yeah, so I think this shot right there is actually right next to this, because you can see the freeway behind her. Let me see if I can get in there. Sometimes you have to be right on the line. There you go. So I think she may have been standing right here, kind of right on the edge of the trees there. And there's the freeway back there.
I was always just kind of told that she was sick and passed away.
But Colleen's sisters say she was one of a kind.
She was the bubbly, bright, just happy person. She was a beautiful soul. They called her Miss America when she was a little girl.
Colleen disappeared on December 2nd, 1989. She was found dead at this rest stop 15 days later on December 17th. Platone was only 3 years old.
I know that finding the killer isn't going to change my life or make it any different or better, but I think it would put some closure and help my dad a little bit, because he's never been the same.
So this is for you, Colleen.
One by one, family members laid roses on the spot where Colleen's body was found. In 31 years, they've never received a single lead, but they've also never lost hope.
You see cold cases on TV all the time.
Not insane. Not one lead.
That are being solved, and after years and years, and I just hope one day that's my mom too.
Colleen's family says they hope that advances in DNA evidence may one day help find her killer, but they also believe that there are witnesses who have yet to come forward. If you know anything about what happened in this case, you can call Crime Stoppers of Southwest Florida. We'll have that number posted in this story on our website at fox4now.com. In Fort Myers, Rob Manch, Fox 4.
Yeah, it's Fox 4. The links are in the description there. Okay, and then this is another one from today, actually, again. So if you look right here, she's laying down these. I might have to look because I see this little thing right here, whatever that is. But there's the bush there, and it seemed to me like, you know, a bush like that would have taken a while to grow. It's not that one. I think it was right here. It's hard to say though. Yeah. Yeah, there was another shot that made it seem even more. I mean, some of this stuff isn't, I don't know, I don't see whatever this is right there. But you've got the grass here, and then this is obviously a little higher at times, and then a bush right back there. So it could definitely be, and also if you look in the background, see there's like a meadow and then the trees back there. So that's kind of what you have right here when you look. Oh, and I think this could very well be it, because I mean, like even back there's a tree. Of course, it's cut a little differently at the time, but back there, and then way in the background you've got the trees, and then those trees. So, anyways, I have it marked right around in this area, but there is another bush back here, I guess. But I don't think this one looked similar. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it's the right type. Yeah, see, that's not even a bush. So that's why I think that was it. And it's really close to where they were sort of gathering at that right here. And if it was here, you know, you would see the road back there. So that can't be. So it has to be like around here, like this, because that's where the big meadow is. And, you know, I guess, you know, even in here doesn't really work. The only thing that really worked was right over here. So there we go. Well, there's a good way. Well, now we got more image there. Let's just see. Oh yeah, yeah. Look at that. Boom. Yeah, that's just. I mean, I actually think that those two are those two, and then that one is this one, and I don't know. Maybe it's just this one isn't here anymore. This one, but look at how perfect those are. Right there, has to be right. Come on. And I guess given the angle of this shot, that tree would actually be. They're right here. It's to the left. That other tree is to the left of the shot. So I think that's it. So I think they're actually about like this. And yeah, maybe just a slight, even a little bit more. Maybe if you could get to right there, I can't do it. And then you look through there, all you would see is that one. I don't know if that tree's still there, but you see that one, and that. So there you go. Anyways. That's where she was found. Absolutely. That sounds about like one of the most cold cases in the history of mankind. I mean, it's not one lead came in. Yeah, that's so high, the camera on this thing. It's so high in the air. But yeah, I think, definitely think that that's this. It's just the camera's down lower. And that tree, okay, yep. So, all right. So that's all for sure, 100%. There was a video on here. Let me open up that last one more time. I think there was another one. No, that was it. Okay, so anyways, I thought I'd bring that one up. Maybe that's the one that has potential DNA in it. And maybe I'll send that to Colleen and maybe she can call somebody. Thanks, Kit Kat. Yeah, I'm kind of assuming that, you know, because I removed over half of the moderators.
Have a few extra bucks.
That all of a sudden I'll be
donate
punished.
To Greater Day, heart.
Yeah. I feel bad about it, but I can't, you know. Oh yeah, earlier, who was that? It was Linda said, "Hey, don't take me away from being a moderator." I mean, if you want to not be one, let me know. But if it's really something, look it. I've had many girlfriends. I'm married, and I know that there's this little game sometimes that when people say, "I don't want anything for Valentine's Day. Okay, get me nothing. I don't want anything this year." What they're really saying is, this is a test. If you don't get me a goddamn present for Valentine's Day, I'm going to kick your ass. So if you're saying you don't want to be a moderator, okay, then make sure that that's really what you're saying, okay? Come on. Tell me if I wasn't accurate what I just said right there. And tell me what. Raise your hand if you've used that technique on a guy. Oh, no. Yeah, you know what? We've been together. You do so much for me during the year. Don't get me anything. Yeah, it's fantastic. You're just so wonderful. I want for nothing. Oh yeah, I knew it. Okay, so when somebody says, "Okay, I don't want to be a moderator anymore," I'll have you verify it, but don't be upset when all of a sudden it's not one. The thing is I was trying to say it earlier. In the chat, I can't type, for example. Like right now, I just typed in, "Hello, everyone." And you can't see it, right? Nobody can see that. Right, so earlier I was trying to say that I had 80 mods, and now there's 34 mods, okay? But look at it. It's still like there's a lot of mods, right? I actually added myself back as a moderator. And I still can't comment. And I'm not confident at all that I'll ever be able to comment it again because YouTube doesn't give two shits about helping anybody with any technical issues whatsoever. They have these really low-level people that probably use their cell phone to reply to you while watching a movie and eating popcorn. They glance over at it every once in a while, and they go, yeah. Can you give me 5 minutes? Let me look into this. Okay, yeah. Get him. Yeah, shoot him. Yeah, get him. Oh, you got him. Yeah. And then all of a sudden an alarm goes off after 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. Wasn't able to find anything. We'll send it to our crackerjack unit over here. They'll get right on top of that one for you guys. Yes. Bullshit, okay? They don't do anything for anyone. I think if you're one of the really huge YouTubers, like Tweety Pie, whatever the hell his name is, PewDiePie, whatever the hell his name is, they'll get right on that because he's worth millions to them. But us lowly YouTubers, they consider us, we can't be bothered. Let us know. It just sucks. Yeah, no, I think of everybody exactly the same. What do you mean mods were? What does that mean? Mods were a big fan base. What does that mean? Sooner history. Yeah. Well, the problem is I shouldn't have made everybody that many mods. Okay, I was just doing it out of like, wow, you're always around. Hey, why don't you be a mod? You know, without really thinking about like what I'm doing with it. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. You know, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean any more that I think anything higher of you if you're a mod or not. Well, they're still here, right? Sooner history? They're just not mods anymore. Like, you're still sitting there, right? I mean, listen, Sooner history, if you were only here because you were a moderator, then I'm sorry. I'm not going to make you a moderator just so you'll watch my show, okay? If you're only here like, yeah, I'm a moderator, so I'm going to watch, then, you know, I don't even want you here, to be honest with you. I'll look at you right now in the face. If you were a moderator and now you're not going to watch my show because you're not one, I do not want you to watch my shows ever again, okay? Because I really, that means you didn't give a shit about anything that I was doing this whole time, that you only cared about being a moderator. All right? And I'm just giving you the true speak. I appreciate everybody when they were moderators and the help you were doing and everything like that. But yes, we had too many of them. And if you aren't here to support the channel and the stuff that we're doing, the huge amounts of money to charity each year and at the end of each month and all that kind of stuff, then it is what it is. I'll build up another way over time, a different way, okay? Now, if you still want to support the channel, then I appreciate it. Yeah. Was that too much for you? Was that like too offensive? Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think anything less of you if you're not a moderator. Okay, do you understand that? And I don't think anybody else does either. I'm trying to avoid the crazy crap that was going on where, you know, I don't want moderators building coalitions and, you know, attacking somebody over and over. As a matter of fact, I don't even want you guys to remove anybody. If you want to put somebody on timeout, then I can look at them and then I'll decide whether or not I want to hide them, unless they come in and they're just an obvious troll with the F this crap, those obvious ones. But also, if there's a person that's not a moderator and they're in here and they're arguing with you and you're a moderator, you don't get to use your moderator badge to just shut them up because you didn't like what they were saying when you were saying the same kind of stuff to them. Okay, I see that crap all the time. All right? It was really getting frustrating to me. Just because they don't have, because sometimes they'd make good points and, and the thing is, when I do my show and I see a comment in there, I'll say, oh God, that's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. And then if they come back with, well, you're goddamn, then boom, I time them out and they're out of here, okay? But I don't ever do that. I just say that's a ridiculous comment or something like that. Okay? The only time I start doing the actual rodeo clown, calling them something, is when they've already said something that was really harsh towards either the channel or something else. Okay, it never happens. They always forget that part, though, when they go tell their buddies somewhere. Oh, yeah, that great guy, boy. Yeah, but they always forget the part about how they came in and did some bullshit comment first. And it wasn't an opinion comment about what we were talking about. It was some other trashy
Just stay being
comment.
you.
Thanks, Gene Fish. Yeah. I know, I don't want to have to moderate, but here's the thing, everybody. I get messages all the time in emails and everywhere about the moderator issue. And I think it was causing problems on the channel. I'm not even sure if I'm completely done yet. I'm going to see how it goes here. But, yeah, all the time you get comments like that. So, Yep, really, yep. Yeah, now the thing is, if you're having a chat and somebody says something and you go, oh, that's crazy. When I say something to somebody, I don't want the rest of you to jump on them too, like we're this one big pack. You know, sometimes when somebody says something, I'll just be, oh, that's crazy. And then I want to see what their response is going to be. But before I can even see a response, they've already been timed out or blocked from the channel. I know you're doing it to be sort of supportive or whatever, but I don't really want to have it to be that way. You get what I'm saying? So, Linda Howell, did you hear what I said a minute ago? You said, hey, I don't want to be a moderator. I don't even know what I'm doing, you said. So is it something you don't want to be? Because I loved what you wrote. You said, I'll still be here all the time and everything. You're picking up what I'm laying down? Wait, how did it come you both typed in that same thing? How come Kit Kat and Tracy, are you guys like psychic of each other? Hey Rebecca, I'll just do whatever I feel like doing, okay? Don't tell me how to do what I'm doing. I'm asking her because she asked me that later. She said she doesn't really, know what she's doing or what she's doing or whatever. So I'm wondering if that's something she really wanted or not. All she has to say is no. I like having her as a moderator, but I don't need you to feed me any lines or think about any of that kind of stuff. Well, I don't care what your opinion is on that one, Rebecca. It's my channel. You get what I'm saying? Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, hey Rebecca, I think what you should do at Thanksgiving, make sure that your aunt gets, make sure this happens, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm asking her because she said the comment earlier, and I'm wondering if that was real or not. I haven't seen her respond back, so probably she didn't mean to say that, or didn't want to be removed as one. She was suggesting herself. Okay? But Linda Howell's been around forever. And, who doesn't love Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles? Yeah, no, she's great. I was just reading her comment earlier and was wondering if that's what she meant. That's why I brought up the whole Valentine's Day, don't buy me anything. But that wasn't really what you meant. Okay? Yeah, but here's the thing. If Linda Howell isn't a moderator, won't you guys all still love her just as much? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you guys... it's really... Oh, you can't hear? Well, we're talking about you, Linda. Turn up your audio. Yeah. Okay. Never mind. All right. I was just wanting to know if she really wanted to do that or not. Right. I mean, Linda Howell is the best, right? And there's a lot of you that could say, "Oh, you're the best," right? And by a lot, I'm not going to tell you the actual number. I won that one. Okay, so you guys ready? I'm going to move on to these are the ones that Colleen Fitzpatrick suggested we take a look at and see if any of them are ones that we're really interested in donating a portion of what we're donating to charities. And, building up a fund and then using that to pay for, and it might be one of these things where I'm going to have to front my own money. Like let's say next week they go, oh yeah, we're going to need to do that. I'll have to front my own money out of it. But I'll show you guys all the receipts and everything like that. But I'll just make it part of what, like at the end of the month, you know, maybe a portion of that goes to paying off the stuff that we use for that, and then the rest of it goes to actual charities again. Because I don't want to stop donating to, you know, DNA Dope Project or, you know, it's weird about Texas EquiSearch. I've emailed them 3 times to say, hey, what's going on? How do I donate? And they just never respond to anything. I'm not even sure if they're in business or what's going on. And the thing is, I can't type to... Linda's in a bad spot right now because I can't type in chat, so I wouldn't even be able to say anything. What do you mean you're lost, Sassy Nas? I don't get it. What makes you lost? Can you not hear, or we're just having a conversation? Yeah, well, Angelina, try to stick with what we're talking about. You get what I'm saying? Not what you feel like talking about. Right. Because we're actually going to be talking about these cases, not something random. Yeah, they're busy, but they're also not available to take funds currently. So I'm trying to figure out what that's all about. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is, this is 1972. This is one of them here. Julie Ann Hanson here. Oh yeah, Gray, yeah, we talked about that one on the... Okay. This is in Illinois. Almost doing what again? I don't even know what you're talking about. So here we go. Naperville police were looking for leads yesterday in the weekend stabbing murder of a 15-year-old suburban girl. The body of Julie Hanson was found Saturday night in a cornfield on a rural southern limits, or in the, well, it says on the rural southern limits of Naperville. She had been stabbed several times. I mean, it just sounds like so many of these back then. Your name? I don't get it. What does your name have to do with it? Jay Case. Come on, Jay. I mean, jeez. I appreciate it, but man, you're gonna be like the sole supporter of the entire channel and the donations by the time the month is over. Someone told me there's a girl out there with love in her eyes and flowers in her hair. Oh, you're talking about Mary Lou.
Someone told me Terry's a girl out there with love in her eyes and flowers in her hair.
Yeah. Is that lyrics? I don't even know. Are those lyrics, I mean? Now, hey Angelina, what are you talking about up there? Write a full sentence so I know what you're referring to, okay? I'd like to get on to the story though, but you seem to want everybody talking about what you're talking about. I won the Supreme Court trial too. Ah, Jesus. Oh, I'm sure you did. Hey, you don't need a cat eye donation, Kit Kat. You're always a cat. Okay, well. Yeah, it was exactly what I thought it was. I'm going to have to put you on timeout there, Angelina. Maybe when you come back, you'll be able to figure something out. All right, here we go. Naperville police were looking for leads yesterday in the weekend stabbing murder of a 15-year-old suburban girl. The body of Julie Hanson was found Saturday night in a cornfield on the rural southern limits of Naperville. She had been stabbed several times. She was last seen on Friday. Irving Lichter, Naperville police chief, said the girl was fully clothed when found. She apparently had not been molested, he said. You know what's weird? I've been finding out a lot of these old articles, they say that somebody wasn't molested, but almost every single time that they were, you know? I'd say 80% of the time when they say that, they ended up being sexually molested. He said the girl's parents... let's see. The girl was last seen about 7 p.m. Friday when she rode her bicycle away from her family home at 1229 Basswood Drive, Naperville. And that home is right here. That was the school that she goes to. And this is the home. Yeah, right there. So there you go. And I guess she got on a bike and took off, and that was the last time anybody had ever seen her. He said the girl's parents, Jerome and Marguerite Hanson, were away at the time. Julie's disappearance was reported to police Saturday afternoon by an 18-year-old sister, Jill. Police found the bicycle in a ditch along 87th Street. Oh, now we can do that. That's pretty crazy. So let's see where 87th Street and Modaf Road, I guess. Wait. Okay. So right here it's saying it's kind of a complicated intersection. It's along 87th Street between Modaf Road and Washington Street. Okay, so 87th. Okay. This is 87th, so then it's Modaf and Washington Street. No, that's not right. Is that what this is? Okay, yeah, that's Washington. So it's this one right here. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. So, oops. So this is Washington Street. Right there. And then 87th is right here. So let me move that down to here. 87th. And then the other street was Modaf Road. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we know. So that's 87th. So now we know. Now it's right. It's in between this area right here. And then her bike was found. Let's see. Let me save that first. Okay. The girl's body was discovered about 100 feet away. So her said the girl's body was discovered about 100 feet away. The bicycle in a ditch along 87th Street between Madoff Road and Washington Street. Lichter said the girl's body was discovered about 100 feet away. So let's see what it looked like back in even 94. Yeah, so there's 94 there was homes all around. But I have a feeling that in 72 it didn't look like this at all. And I don't know if we can go up high here. And now we can put 84 in there. Ah, crap. Didn't work. Okay, that's 1984 right there. So 84, it looks like definitely more dense for sure now. There was a lot more openings there. Thanks, Sooner History. And so somewhere along in this, between Madoff Road and Washington was her bike, and then 200 yards from that she was found. So she was found somewhere in this general area. As a matter of fact, if I made a circle, probably just went to the middle here, plopped it down, you know, she's probably found somewhere in that. I would say probably right like in there. All right. Okay. Jerome Hanson is a district sales manager. Okay. Police found the bicycle in a ditch right there, and it says Jerome Hanson is the district manager for Chemical Lehman Tank Lines. That's the father, which has headquarters in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. He and his wife also have a son, Mark. Then another article, teenager killed. Police baffled. Suburban Naperville police said today they were searching for clues in the weekend slaying of a 15-year-old suburban girl. Police Chief Irving J. Lichter said today he was too busy with his investigation to make the slaying of Miss Julie Hanson public before Monday. He said there were few clues in the slaying. Miss Hanson was last seen, because she was actually killed on the 7th. Miss Hanson was last seen Friday about 7 p.m. And these first articles were the 11th, so they waited a few days. When she rode her bicycle away from her Naperville home, police found the bicycle in a ditch alongside a road. It'd be cool to know where she was heading. Julie's body was found about 100 feet away. Authorities said the girl was fully clothed and she apparently had not been molested. This one is another article from that same day, the 11th. Police continued their search today for clues. The body of Julie Hanson, stabbed several times, was found Saturday in a cornfield on the outskirts of Naperville. You can definitely tell that there's no cornfields here anymore, right? That's not a... But it definitely... 1972, that's what it definitely could have been, cornfields there, and there was. The girl's parents said they last saw her when she left her home Friday night riding a bicycle. Police said they were told the girl was missing Saturday afternoon and several hours later discovered the fully clothed body. An autopsy conducted by Willard Blood, Will County coroner, showed Miss Hanson had been stabbed a total of 30 to 35 times in the back, chest, and neck. Ah, Jesus. So this person went nuts. What happened? Yeah, it says right there she's 15, right on the screen there. And then an article on the 12th. The first part wasn't related to this. Police in Naperville said they saw no connection between yesterday's shooting and the stabbing death Friday night of Julie Hanson, 15. Second tragedy in family. Miss Hanson's body was found Saturday in a cornfield. The murder weapon has not been discovered, and police said the suspect are in custody. She was a really great girl who always had time for everyone, said Mary Ann Sesko, 15, Jennifer's friend. She said Jennifer was active in the 4-H club, enjoyed scuba diving, and devoted much time to her pet, a German Shepherd dog named Pia. It was the second tragedy in the Kratska family. 10 years ago, Jennifer's brother, James, 4, was killed in an auto accident. Jeez. So now they have 1 kid left out of 3. Man, that's terrible luck there. And another one from the 12th. Police continue their search. I think this one's just the same story put out a day later. They last saw her when she left their home. They were told the girl was missing Saturday afternoon. Stabbed 30 times. Why would you stab? That's just nuts. It's like total rage. It's like that case, very similar to the one from yesterday in California. Now this right here, I think it'll be very interesting for you guys because I went and looked up her case afterwards, and there was this incredible PDF file that I found, which is, it's regarding a killer. Let me get to the right page here. It's page 6 through 10. Okay, we're on 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is for a guy named Major Morris here. All right, and this is actually a document from 2017. Must have been a hearing in front of the state Supreme Court. We have that term en banc. I think that means in front of all the members. I think. Right? You can do the one before that where there's just 3, and then you have to come back and then you get all, because I remember it in the one of the, what was that case, the I never heard of that term until the I can't remember the case with the guy that at the junkyard, and then Dassey, I forgot what that whole thing's called, making of a murder. And if Zozo's around, she's going to type in that I just said that exact sentence. Yep. Before all the judges. Yeah. Let's just focus in on this one for now, though, okay? Send me an email on that one, Notorious, if you want me to cover it or something like that. But right now, we're just going over this. The Illinois Prisoner Review Board met in open en banc session at 319, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so down here, Major Morris was convicted of 2 murders occurring 5 years apart. Both victims were girls, either hitchhiking or walking along the roadway, and subsequently picked up by Morris, who was driving. On September 27, 1973, 15-year-old Roberta Jean Anderson, a high school sophomore, left the rural Oswego residence of friends on foot sometime after 8:30. There she'd been helping to complete a homecoming float. She never arrived home, and her body was found 3 days later at an abandoned rural property, covered by a wagon and some debris. When discovered, her shirt was pushed up above the level of her breasts, and her jeans were pulled down to her hips. Miss Anderson was later found to have suffered 61 stab wounds to her neck, trunk, and arms, and to have died of hemorrhage and shock. See, doesn't this, I mean, it sounds already kind of similar, right? Mr. Morris, who was 19 years of age in 1973, so he probably would have been, I don't know when his birthday was, but 17 or 18 in 1972 when Julie Ann Hanson was in the area. Mr. Morris, who was 19 years of age at the time, was considered to be a suspect. He and his wife had moved from the area to Missouri within days of the discovery of Miss Anderson's body. Articles of evidence were recovered from the now abandoned local residence that Morris and his wife left. So they were in a house, and then they got the hell out of Dodge right here. Morris was first interviewed by Will County Sheriff Detective Jack Waters on October 4th. Detective Waters returned on the following day at Mr. Morris's request, and another interview resulted. At this time, Morris made the statement that he needed help. He added, "If I killed her, I don't know it. I don't know where we were or where he went." I don't know what that means, where he went. Detective Waters inspected Morris's car, noting that the dome light didn't work and that the passenger side door and window handles were missing. So as soon as the person gets in hitchhiking, you shut the door, they can't get out. And the dome light's not on, so that when the car door opens, when you're after you, I mean, this is just a classic killer move right here, right? Yeah, well, hey, Notorious Snatch, you can send me the art. I'd like to, take a look at that case, though, if you don't mind. So send me an email, all right? Detective Waters conducted a third interview on November 27th, and my email's in the description. Detective Waters conducted a third interview on November 27th, during which time he asked Morris what he thought might have happened to the victim. Morris then suggested that the victim had been picked up by a stranger. Yeah. He's describing, this is what Jodi Arias did. That's one of the things in the Jodi Arias case that I thought was just, what's his name? Detective Flores. He was an idiot in some of that. He had Jodi Arias saying exactly what happened because her mind was remembering it, but she was giving the fake person the physical attributes of what she's saying. Oh, this other girl. Now what she did was, hey, thanks, Sarah M. And Flores just cut her off. Yeah, I don't believe you, man. I don't believe. You should have just kept getting details from her, letting her fill in some of the blanks. And that's sort of what this guy's doing here when he's like, well, what do you think happened? Morris then suggested that the victim had been picked up by a stranger. Well, that would have been you. That she had refused the stranger's advances and was killed. Thank you, Linda Howe, as in Linda Molden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles.
Poop, internet. I hear every other word. Lol, cow, alien, flying saucer, ox, are interfering with signal. Smiley face. Love the freak family.
Thanks, Sarah M. And look at that. It's a cup of beet juice. Yeah, so anyways, let's right now, Morris is now explaining what he thinks happened because he's the one that did it, and it's easy to remember it that way. Morris then suggested that the victim had been picked up by a stranger, that she had refused the stranger's advances, and was killed. The essential elements of a confession he gave 19 years later, however. However, he continued to deny involvement at the time, unable to tie Morris to the crime. The case went unsolved for many years. In the interim, the second victim, 18-year-old Margaret Stern, disappeared without a trace. Miss Stern, a student and a part-time clerk at the College of DuPage, left the campus on foot on September 15, 1978, after complaining that she was not feeling well. She was known to hitchhike between school and home from time to time. Miss Stern's remains were recovered on May 9, 1986. Wow, 8 years later. 7 years later. So more than 7 years later, and within mere feet of where Miss Anderson had been found in 1973. Wow. That's insane. Why would the idiot, knowing that the body was found, bring the body back to the exact spot? Miss Stern's skeleton and her intact braces were all that remained. She was identified through dental records. In 1992, the Anderson and the Stern homicide cases were reopened, as well as the murder of another girl, 15-year-old Julie A. Hanson. Hey, boom. There we go. This is 1992. Miss Hanson disappeared on July 7th, 1972, prior to the Anderson and Stern murders. But she would have been, the guy would have been 17 or 18 at the time. She had been sexually, see now listen, she had been sexually assaulted and stabbed 36 times. You see now later on when it's all been investigated and everything, now we know she was sexually assaulted. However, in the article, and I hadn't even seen that part, but in the article way back in 1972, they say there's no evidence she was sexually assaulted. See, that means that they've had that information, but now it's known. And so it says she had been sexually assaulted and stabbed 36 times, and she had been found in a cornfield approximately 2 miles from where Miss Anderson and Miss Stern were found. That's crazy. In 1992, collaborating investigators sought the help of the FBI, and offender profile dated September 6, 1992 was generated based on all the data from the Hanson and Anderson murders. That profile concluded that anyone developed as a suspect in either of those cases should seriously be considered a suspect in the other case. A warrant was, because they believe that both killings were done by the same person. So whoever the suspect is in one is going to be a suspect in the other one. A warrant was obtained to collect blood and hair samples from Morris for the investigation into the Hanson murder. Investigator Tom Morrison, Detective Mark Carlson, and lead investigator Ed Hayes made contact with Morris on December 3rd, 1992, and executed the warrant at the Pulaski County Jail in Missouri. So he was somebody they were interested in from the very beginning. At the conclusion of the evidence collection, Morris became emotional and asked what would happen if he confessed. He confessed to the 1973 murder of Miss Anderson at that time. So he confessed to killing not Anderson, but the other individual, Miss Anderson, the first one that they were talking about, 1973. Morris's confession was audio and visually recorded, so he admitted to the stabbing up there that was 60 stab wounds or so. During that confession, Mr. Morris admitted that he was driving and drinking beer when he saw Miss Anderson walking along the roadway. And wasn't she the one that would... I can't remember if she was the first one. Which one was she? The Miss Stern was the one that was a hitchhiker. Okay. Said he was convinced during that convention. Hold on, I just dropped something. Just dropped my Gatorade bottle there. During that confession, Mr. Morris admitted that he was driving and drinking beer when he saw Miss Anderson. I mean, just listen to how this is just so the way it is. I mean, it's just so many cases are just so random. You have these absolute wackos, and they just randomly appear and people die. Just like Delphi case is another one, just like, thanks Patricia M. Boom. Freak. Hey, Streamlabs, why didn't you read those?
Boom, freak. Boom, freak heart.
Oh, wait, no.
Boom, freak hot. Boom, freak hot.
There you go. You're freak hot. Yee, boom. All right. So during that confession, I'm going to get through this paragraph. During that confession, Mr. Morris admitted that he was driving and drinking beer when he saw Miss Anderson walking along the roadway. He said he convinced her to get into the car, talked with her, and eventually grabbed her breast. This caused her... Now listen to this. Gets really disturbing really quickly here, and I knew exactly what was going on right when I heard this part. This caused her to hit him. Morris added that she said she wanted to get out of the car, but that he told her he would not let her out, and that he stabbed her repeatedly with a knife, that he had been carrying in the car. Morris added that he removed Miss Anderson, who was still, unconscious, from the car, and that he had sexual intercourse with her while she was unconscious. Okay, well, immediately right when you realize that he stabbed her 60 times, you know that she wasn't alive when he had sex with her. She wasn't just unconscious, right? Like, she was dead. Inmate Morris did take the stand in his own defense during the Anderson murder trial, alleging that he confessed because he was promised that he would only serve 2 years. Morris' taped confession was played to the jury during the trial and was viewed again by the jury during its 7 hours of deliberation. In March of 1997, just 3 months after he was convicted of murdering Miss Anderson, Morris was indicted in connection with Stern's murder. So that's the one that was would hitchhike, I think. Morris elected not to go to trial, and conviction was entered following a guilty plea. So that means he did do it. I mean, he basically, that's admitting it. The 20-year sentence imposed for the murder of Miss Stern has been served, and Morris has served 25 years of the 100 to 200 year sentence. I love those sentences. You're serving 200 years, and then you're up for parole. Good luck. Has served 25 years of the 100 to 200 year sentence imposed for the murder of Miss Anderson, since it was concurrent up until that time, right? The board is reminded via letter from Lieutenant Ed Hayes. No, actually, no. I think he's been in jail that whole... no, it was 90-something. Okay. So the board is reminded via letter from Lieutenant Ed Hayes of Morris' admission to a cellmate. So listen to this. So there was an admission to a cellmate at the Pulaski County Jail that he did kill Julie Hanson. That's who we're talking about. During an interview conducted by investigators Tom Morrison of the Will County Sheriff's Department in 1992, Johnson said he was told by Morris that he had sex with the girls after they were dead, and that sex after a body was dead was better. This is what he said. The case of Miss Hanson's murder is yet unresolved. Lieutenant Hayes also advised the board that Morris at some time, so it'd be interesting then if there's any DNA, because they weren't using DNA to solve any of these first two. So this is why Colleen sent me this one, because perhaps they have DNA, and now they can actually perhaps even get one of the relatives to submit a sample and do a comparison, because I think they don't even need to start from, ground zero. I think that it's very likely that Morris here is the killer. So you just need to sort of get his DNA, do a comparison, and just like that. But if it turns out where that doesn't match, then you need to do ancestry DNA. Yeah. Morris enlisted in the U.S. Army in 1981, was discharged in 85. Weird. So he went to the military after he did all this. And served until his honorable discharge in March of 89. So he was in the military from 81 to 89. He has the support of his wife of 45 years. That's crazy. Of his daughters and of friends with whom he served in the Army. His institutional record is excellent. He has served approximately 25 years of his 100 to 200 years. Yeah, I mean, why even look at it again? Okay, yeah, he's done a great job. He's still got at least 75 years to go. Morris discontinued his participation in a sex offender treatment program during the pre-treatment phase of the basis that he had already transitioned to a conformist lifestyle prior to his arrest. Oh, I see. I get it. Yeah. There continues to be strong opposition to parole release expressed by the Will County State Attorney, law enforcement personnel. The board continues to be troubled by the unprovoked attacks perpetrated by Mr. Morris upon innocent girls and of the sex-motivated nature of those attacks. Military record notwithstanding, it is a feeling of this board that accusations unproven, in addition to those that have been resolved through conviction in court, are such that continued incarceration for the protection of the public is warranted. Thank you! For once! Judges with brains! Good stuff. Yeah. So, anyways, parole denied. I don't even know when they're saying parole denied. I mean, he's got 75 years to go, doesn't he? Anyways, did you guys find that interesting, that PDF file? I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, so this is basically a similar thing. So it sounds like they just need to absolutely verify who the killer was in that one. And that would be a great thing to do. I'd be totally into funding a genealogical test on that one. Okay, then let's see. Now these are ones that I'm not sure that we ever talked about them on the show, but they're in Eugene, Oregon. And these are ones that she sent me as well. And there was 3 murders, but they're all, I believe, from the same person. Hold on, I got the wrong folder open. There it is. Alright, so Gladys. Yeah, so here's one of them didn't even have an article on it, but there's just one here. Former police chief Pierce Brooks, a homicide expert who has worked on several notorious murder cases, has agreed to help his former department investigate 2 recent unsolved slaying, police said Friday. The body of Gladys Hensley, 62, was found in her Eugene apartment nearly a month ago. The body of Janice Marie Dickinson, 33, of Springfield, was found behind a Eugene car dealership last week. Police say they have no suspects and no solid leads in either case. Brooks worked on the Atlanta child killing case and recently was hired by a King County, Washington police agency to review evidence in the Green River serial murder case. Deputy Chief John Rutledge said the decision to consult Brooks does not indicate a possible connection between the Eugene killings and the Green River case. He also said the move does not signal a lack of faith in the department. It is not a sign of weakness, he said. I'll talk to anyone, and I don't care who gets the credit. I'll use their information to help solve these crimes. Detectives working on the case have not released the cause of death, but the weapon or weapons used in the slaying and other similarities have led police to say they believe the deaths may be related. Brooks, who lives in Vida, was chief of police in Springfield from July 1969 to April 71. In addition to the fact that Brooks has a hometown interest in the Eugene slaying, he has a lot of experience. It's kind of lame how the article is mainly about like him and what they're doing. No details at all. Anyways, these are the 3 killings right here in Eugene. So Gladys Hensley right here in this area. I remember, I think it was in these apartments right there. And the Janice Dixon, not Dickinson. Janice Dixon. No, it is Dickinson, right? Yeah, Dickinson. Isn't Janice Dickinson that model that was caught up in some of the sexual allegations? I mean, the same name, though, right? That's what I was thinking. All right, body found in Eugene. Police on Friday identified a woman whose partially clad body was found behind a car dealership Thursday. All right, so this one is Janice Dickinson, which is right here, and here's the car dealership. I don't really know if it was, where in the dealership. Back here, maybe. Wow, got me on a sidewalk. That was pretty good. Well. Alright, so the woman was identified as Janice M. Dickinson, 33, of Springfield. Police said they were investigating a possible link between Dickinson and another woman, Gladys Hensley, 62, who was found slain June 5th at an apartment complex. So that's not even the same one. So you've got Gladys Hensley and, well, that is the same one that they were just talking about, but Geraldine Toohey. There's 3 women here that were murdered, and she was killed in 1988. So these first 2, Gladys Hensley and Janice Marie Dickinson, were both killed in 1986. And I was actually, believe it or not, I was at the University of Oregon in 1986, and I think I might have even been at the University of Oregon in the 1988 killing, depending on what time of year that was, but I don't even know what, I never even heard about it when I was there. Let's put it that way. And no, I don't know anything extra about the case. I just now realize that I was at the University of Oregon in that same year. An auto mechanic found Dickinson's body lying beneath a tree about 20 feet from where a grassy bank abuts a parking lot. I bet that's the bank they're talking about, even though it's not grass right now. Here, let's see if you go back in time to $1984 again. Oops, that doesn't work. 2000. So 2000, it looks relatively similar. Thank you, Lisa Wilkerson. The auto mechanic found Dickinson's body lying beneath a tree about 20 feet from where a grassy bank abuts a parking lot at the dealership. The mechanic's supervisors notified police, who cordoned off the area to search for clues. Police said they believe the woman. Thank you, Lisa Wilkerson. Generous freaks.
You're awesome, Gray.
Well, you're pretty awesome yourself. The police said they believe the woman was killed on the bank. Detective Sergeant Mike Klein said a weapon was used in the slaying, but he declined to discuss it further. Hensley's death remained unsolved Friday, and police have not revealed how she died. Okay, and there's one more article in the Dickinson one. Former police chief Pierce Brooks, a homicide expert. Sounds like this is the same one, doesn't it? She's just mentioned in this one too. So then 1988, 2 years later, there was another murder of a woman named Geraldine Toohey, okay? So then after that, look at this right here now. DNA technology links trio of unsolved Eugene murders to same unidentified suspect.
We also learned that the victims were 62-year-old Gladys May Hensley, found murdered in her High Street apartment in 1986, 33-year-old Janice Marie Dickinson, found murdered behind a car dealership on Coburg Road in 1986, and 73-year-old Geraldine Spencer Toohey, who was found murdered in her home on Franklin Boulevard in 1988. Eugene police now have new forensic technology called Snapshot that can accurately predict the physical appearance of a suspect based on DNA evidence. Police revealed their findings today, and this is what they predict the suspect looked like in the 80s. And here's what they believe he might look like now. Investigators from EPD and Oregon State Police will hold a press conference with a private DNA firm today at 10 a.m. with more information.
And you know, he's going to look close to that with the coloring. Let's check this out. Hey, you want to watch? Let's watch this one. You guys want to watch this? Or I always like these. Susie B says yes. So does Susanna. Jen H. Sarita. Here, let me move it to when they're speaking.
Jennifer, mine's on the podium, so I don't have to do that.
I have enough room for another pocket here. And then if someone's going to talk after you, you could give it to them. Okay, thank you. Frank will do the same.
Regarding deceased person, the cases. And so basically I believe Melinda has already put out information which summarizes the cases. If you guys want me to go over that again, I can read through it. Yes? Okay. So on June 5th, 1986, at approximately 2:42 p.m., Eugene police and Eugene fire medics responded to an apartment at 255 High Street regarding deceased person Gladys May Hensley, age 62, who was located during a welfare check by an apartment employee after she had not been seen for several days. The investigation revealed that the death of Hensley was a murder and that it was likely that she was killed in the early hours on June 4th, 1986. Police have not been able to locate the involved suspect. However, similarities in the murder and evidence at the scene connect the suspect to additional murders that occurred in the same month and also in February of 1988. In August of 2000, additional DNA work requests resulted in Hensley's murder being connected to the June 19th, 1986 murder of Janice Marie Dickinson, which was also investigated by the Eugene Police Department, as well as the February 28th, 1988 murder of Geraldine Spencer Toohey, investigated by the Oregon State Police. Dickinson, a 33-year-old white female, was found murdered behind the car dealership at 20 Coburg Road in Eugene. She was naked and had been sexually assaulted. Her death was attributed to brutal homicidal violence. Toohey, a 73-year-old white female, was found in her residence in the 5400 block of Franklin Boulevard. Evidence of forced entry into the residence was discovered. Toohey had been sexually assaulted and her death was attributed to brutal homicidal violence. I kind of took Detective Sprague's spot there. Sorry. The Eugene Police Department investigated 8 murders in 1986, 4 which occurred in a 3-month period beginning with Hensley's murder. Several persons of interest were developed and thoroughly investigated over the years and have been excluded through DNA comparison. All 3 cases have lacked any strong leads. In 2016, a new technology came to market from Paragon Nanolabs, allowing the inference of physical characteristics of individuals based on DNA information. This service, snapshot phenotyping, was employed in this case, and in September of 2017, Eugene police investigators received the results. We talked a little bit about snapshot in the release, however, we have the expert here available. So I will probably defer to her for specific questions about that.
Could you say and spell your name for the media here?
Sure. I'm Ellen Greytack, ELLENGREY.
Oh, EY? Come on, that's bullshit. It's AY.
And could you explain a little bit about what exactly your company does and how they were able to generate these composites?
Absolutely. So what we do is called DNA phenotyping. So this is very different from traditional DNA forensics, which looks at DNA like a fingerprint. So you can use it to match a sample from a crime scene to a suspect who's already been identified or to a database. But if you don't get any hits in those places, traditional DNA forensics can't tell you anything else about the person. So what we're doing is we're actually looking at the DNA, at the parts of the DNA that code for physical differences between people. So we're looking at the genes for eye color, hair color, skin color, freckling, face shape, and also the person's ancestry. And so we predict each of those pieces of information, report it with a level of confidence. So that's based on thousands of predictions that we've made on people with known appearance. So if we say, that someone has blue eyes with 95% confidence, that means that 95% of the time when we've looked at DNA similar to this sample, it's come from someone with blue eyes. And so then at the end, we put it all together into a composite. So we predict the shape of the face and then apply the pigmentation, but we only have the information that's coming out of the DNA.
Are you guys still there? Normally you guys are chatting it up just about this even. I typed in anyone there in the chat, but you guys can't see it. Okay.
DNA sequence. So we don't have information like the age, the weight, anything that's not written in the DNA, like their hairstyle, tattoos, anything like that. So we like to emphasize that this is not a photograph. It's a description of a person, but it allows you to have a description of a person to generate leads based on a DNA sample. If you don't have a description of that person to go on, this allows investigators to, especially most importantly, eliminate suspects who really don't match this prediction, and then within people who could match, prioritize a suspect list and conduct their investigation.
Okay, we'll open it up to question and answer now. Question here.
Finally, a videographer that knows what they're doing.
Successful with the snapshot to find other murder cases, and in this fact, have you seen a success rate in this?
Yes, so we've had quite a number of successes at this point. The technology's only been available for about 3 years. At this point, we've worked on about 150 cases. We don't always know how the information is used, but of the cases that we've worked on that have publicly acknowledged our work with them, about 20% of those have been solved. And so those go back, the oldest one we've solved thus far is 25 years old. So that was a case where that was a murder that they had not solved for 25 years, and within a few months of our information, they basically went back through their suspect list, went back to talk to anybody they didn't have DNA from and who matched our prediction, and were able to find the person. So we've got a number of examples like that. If you look at our website, snapshot.parabon.com, we have lots and lots of information there that you can use if you'd like. But yeah, so and really every case we work on, we feel like it's a success because that's always information that those investigators didn't have before. So we're always giving new information that can help, eliminate suspects and focus an investigation.
Now, I noticed that you have two different descriptions of the suspect. One of him at the time, or around the age of when everything happened, and one where his age has been progressed. So how do you guys go about the progression of age and making sure that that accuracy is persistent?
Great question. Yeah, so our predictions by default are always done at an age of 25 and at a normal body weight. So for example, hair color is always predicted as red, blonde, brown, or black. We never predict gray. We're always predicting the hair color of that person as a young adult. And the same with the face shape. So what we do have is a forensic artist on staff. So he's certified. He's spent his career doing things like age progressions, reconstructions from skulls, things like that. So what he can do is take that 25-year-old composite and then do a standard forensic art age progression on those results.
I don't know if this would be a question for her, for Eugene Police, but what is the goal of, having these new phenotype reports?
The goal is to generate new investigative leads. We feel like we have a lot of good evidence in this case and that we have DNA in all 3 cases, but we need investigative leads so that we can attach that DNA to a person.
Right, and by investigative leads, do you mean reaching family members or who specifically?
Anyone that has knowledge of any of these crimes, whether they've heard something, they know something because they knew somebody was there, it just doesn't matter. We want information from anybody that might have it.
Question here, and is this the first time that EPD has done this specifically using this one?
Yes, it is.
Do we hope that you guys are going to do this for more cases if successful?
I would say we're definitely we're open to using this in other cases if it applies. Not all cases, it wouldn't apply in all cases, but I would say we're open to using it if there's a case that it would apply to.
Are there any suspects in this case that you're able to compare this photo to now to see if they match?
Right, I would say so. This case has been investigated by numerous detectives over the last 3 decades, as well as our cold case squad. So I can tell you that numerous suspects have been looked at and eliminated by DNA. So, but it's possible that there are people that we would go back and look at again. However, I know that several suspects have already been ruled out from DNA.
And can you talk about what kind of evidence was collected at each of the cases that led to DNA samples?
Right. At this point, we're not going to talk about specific pieces of evidence just to protect the integrity of the investigation.
What have been some of the challenges that you guys have encountered in trying to resolve these cases?
I would say the biggest challenge is that we have DNA in all 3 cases, but we don't have a name to go with that DNA, and that can be very frustrating.
This may be a question for either of you, but do we have a total as to unsolved cold cases at the APD?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I suspect one of our cold case members could tell us that.
And I do not have that information for the Oregon State Police either.
Do we know if there is other victims that are linked with this same suspect?
As far as our cases, we just know that these 3 are linked. That does not mean that there aren't other cases. But for our agencies, those are the only links that we have. That is part of why we want this information to go out, because we do know that is a possibility.
Oh. Yeah, just think how crazy it is. I mean, this guy, this is way back in, what was it, 88? Yeah, 86 and 88. He could have moved, like if he was only 25 or 30 at the time, he could have moved on and gone somewhere else and killed a whole bunch more people. They've never caught this guy. It'd be interesting to figure out, like, how they described it, the stabbing. Obviously, there was probably a sexual assault in all 3 of them because they have DNA from all of them. I mean, the odds of him accidentally leaving his DNA on 3, stabbing murders would be pretty low, especially given they seem like they had a really good sample that they've had for all these years.
The time that has passed, does that also become a challenge in finding the person responsible?
Absolutely. The longer a case goes unsolved, the more likely it is that a suspect could be deceased, move out of the area, or other challenges that we could face. So yes, that is a possibility.
You could probably use Ancestry. Well, you can't hear me, but Ancestry or 23andMe is a pretty good one. Then you have to upload your information to GEDmatch and let law enforcement have it. Opt in.
Is there a cost to doing these types of reports?
Do you want me to answer that, or you?
Please.
So our standard fee is $3,600 for analysis of one sample, and that includes the lab work, the computation, and developing the report as well. So yeah, it's a pretty good deal relative to the number of man hours that you might spend going down wrong paths.
How does one go about getting your services? Does an agency go and pick you, or do you kind of advertise to anybody that in the police department?
Well, just anybody.
I mean, we go out to conferences and things like that to get people to have heard of us, but typically when it comes to an actual case, a detective will contact us saying they're interested in working with us. We will talk to them and the forensics lab that actually has the sample to figure out if the DNA is of good enough quality to work with. And if so, then we'll coordinate having the DNA sent to a lab where it can be analyzed, because we can't use the same, the STR profile. We can't use that. We have to do a separate DNA analysis, and then that the data is sent to us where we do the analysis and then brief the detectives who originally contacted us.
You said about if the data is good enough in quality. How do you determine that?
Well, we look at, first of all, how much DNA is left, because we want to make sure that we're not using up the very last sample that they have. So we need at least 1 nanogram of DNA, which is available in most cases, but there's some cases where they only have touch DNA or something like that. And then it's just evaluating how it was stored, what temperature it was stored at, was it stored in a proper buffer, things like that. Do we think that the DNA is still going to be a good enough quality? And that's obviously more difficult with older cases, but we've worked cases as old as 45 years old successfully. 45 years ago, they didn't even have DNA analysis, so there was no sense of storing samples correctly to make sure that you could use it in the future, which they do now. But that was just something that had been sitting on the shelf for 45 years, and we were still able to analyze it.
This is for EPD, but what led you guys to reach out and consider this as a method, to want to get new leads in the case?
My understanding is that there was a detective at a conference who first heard about this information.
Yeah, I mean, it's groundbreaking, really, because you get to see what somebody looks sort of like. It's not an exact match or anything.
If there are people who may have any leads, where can they call?
Perfect. So we've set up a dedicated tip line for this, and the tip line is valid for all 3 cases, and that is 541-682-5162.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Yeah, the killer, in this case, the victimology is a little bit weird.
What are you hoping out of this press conference? Talk about that in depth.
Nowhere near the same.
This is going to go, what people need to do to pay attention. And the second question would be, I know you're probably thrilled about what's going on with all of this stuff happening. Talk about that too.
Okay.
Thank you.
You want to help me? So,
I think that our big hope is to just gain more investigative leads. Anybody who has any information, to shed some fresh eyes on all 3 of these cases, we would hope that they would call and provide any information they might have.
Thrilled? Well, I mean, this is a big deal, isn't it, for you?
this is a big deal. This is not something that I've seen done in my career yet. I've been here for 21 years now. This is a
you
first
take
for
the next
us.
step.
So anytime you have new technology,
And that's where
it's
Colleen
exciting.
Fitzpatrick comes
And
in.
I just hope that it generates the leads that we need, because like I said, I feel like we're very close to solving these murders. And the victims deserve that, their families deserve that, their friends deserve that, and the community deserve that. So that's why this is most exciting to me, because I feel like it could be just the little thing that we need to nudge us in the right direction.
It'll probably be something where it turns out he died in 2003.
And going down that road might capture the bad guy.
Exactly. I could not have said it better.
Are families of the victims aware of this? And if so, what has been their response so far?
Yeah, Bambino, you miss a lot of things. You probably shouldn't even comment until you actually know what you're doing.
And
this is a case from a report from
some
a story
from
from
the
2018. Okay,
and they've expressed that.
In picking this technology in this specific case, how did you determine that this was the case that you wanted to go ahead and do this first technology with, or was there other cases that possibly were also of interest?
I would say this case was picked specifically because we have DNA evidence available in all three cases. And that's probably the biggest reason. We have DNA profiles, we just don't have a name to go with that. Sometimes people think if you have DNA, you have your suspect. The problem is if their DNA is not in the database that we're searching, we don't get the hit. Right. And so that's why this case was ideal for this technology.
How extensive is your, how extensive is your database for DNA here at the EPD?
At EPD, we do not have our own DNA database. We're relying on the Oregon State Police Crime Lab.
Any sense how many suspects are in that database statewide?
I am not a forensics expert. That's going to be a question for the Oregon State Police Crime Lab.
Really
I don't
nice.
have that information right now.
Detective Curry, could be the littlest thing. Talk about that. I mean, just little things, and I know that because you've been involved in that. But talk about just the littlest things could help.
Right, it is just the littlest things. Whether you knew the suspect 3 decades ago when this happened and you saw something that just wasn't right, or they told you something and you were too afraid to say something about it.
Yeah, Billy Boy Blue. I just people that you don't really ever use your mod, thing, and we had too many mods. But nobody used to block Billy Boy Blue for saying anything that like he makes his jokes. You don't block him. Okay, it's just the way it is, even if you feel like it. All right, that's why he was a moderator. He was a moderator so that you guys couldn't block him. But I think you guys know him all now, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just trying to get people in here that were actually modding. All right.
It is just the littlest things. If you have any information, we want to know, and we will follow up on those leads.
See, look at Billy Boy Blue. See, that's why everybody likes Billy. Look at that response. I never should have been given authority in the first place. Good call. That's actually something Cairo would say. It's awesome.
Any final questions? Do you want to say the tip line again?
Sure. It's 541-682-5162.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. We appreciate it.
So again, for the people who come in and out of the show and then have a lot of questions like Bambino up there, this right tonight, the 4 cases we're going to be covering are ones that Colleen Fitzpatrick sent me to look at to see if they're ones we'd be interested in funding to pay for the genealogy portion. And these are the cases that she sent me. This is a case, that from 1986 and 1988, 3 different murders, all linked by DNA. They did use Parabon Nanolabs to do the phenotyping back in 2018. And now we've got and I'm just playing the press conference for you guys from the time because it's still interesting regardless. And I showed you all the different locations. So if you want, to be on, when you come to the show, you kind of have to be here, and be watching it, or just watch it the next day, that kind of thing. Because when you just sort of randomly show up on a 3-hour show and then start asking questions, and you're going to be way off. Like, what's going on? How come you said that? You've already done this. It made sense to everybody else why we were talking about it. All right, so there you go. It's nothing's really that bad, J case. Just somebody came in and goes, haven't they already figured out how to do this phenotyping? Well, yeah, we did, but I'm just explaining it to you. But anyways, what do you guys? I think this one would be an awesome one to help them out on, don't you think? I think this one would be great because it would solve 3 murders and potentially link him to a whole bunch more. So right now, this one is right up there. Okay, so now we're moving on to another one here. We've done Coleen England Coleen England that wasn't one of the ones Colleen sent us. Then we did Julie Ann Hanson. To me, that one is kind of solved, but they're just needing verification. Don't you guys agree on the Hanson one? I mean, the guy admitted to it. Very similar type murder. Same area, everything. And then the Eugene murders. That one right there is definitely not solved. They have his DNA, obviously, because they did the phenotyping. So it's an absolutely perfect case for that. And then we've got Billie Lee Boyce is the next one. Okay. So here we go. This is the one on Billie Lee Boyce. And I think this one's also in Illinois, Springfield, Illinois. The body of a teenage girl wearing only red ankle socks. I try to picture that. It just sucks. You know. Was found Thursday in an alley behind a two-car garage in a blue-collar neighborhood of southwestern Springfield, officials said. Hey, thanks, Jessica Schubach. A man doing yard work at his home discovered the body of the unidentified girl about 10:30 a.m., about an hour after garbage collectors passed by and thought it was a mannequin. See, look at listen how sad and, you know, sick this is. I mean, like the garbage people drove by and she had rigor mortis, so her hands are like contorted out, arms stuck out, so they thought it was a mannequin. See, rigor mortis had set in by the time the body of the small, slightly built girl with brown hair was found in a fetal position, he said. Authorities found no clothes or other evidence at the site, and police were searching missing persons files and making other checks in an effort to identify the victim. Police speculated the girl was killed somewhere else. Police seeking clues to slaying of teen. Investigators scrambled Friday for clues to suspects in the death of a 13-year-old girl whose body was found in an alley of a blue-collar neighborhood. Our investigation has yet to turn up any new clues, or anything new, it says. City spokesman Michael Murphy said, Billie Lee Boyce apparently died from a severe blow to the head about midnight Wednesday, according to preliminary autopsy results. And she's only 13. The Sangamon County Coroner's Office said there was no evidence of sexual assault, and yet she's only got socks on. Okay, come on. No drugs, no alcohol, said Chief. Boone said she did not know what might have been used to cause the head injury. And that's her right there. Investigators scrambled Friday for clues to suspects in the death of a 13-year-old girl whose body was found in an alley of a blue-collar neighborhood. Our investigation has yet to turn up anything new, city spokesman Michael Murphy said. Billie Lee Boyce apparently died from a severe blow to the head about midnight Wednesday, according to preliminary autopsy results. There was no evidence of sexual assault, no drugs, no alcohol, said Chief Deputy Coroner Susan Boone. Boone said she did not know what might have been used to cause the head injury. The girl, who was identified by her parents, was found Thursday morning in the southwest neighborhood known as Bunn Park. So I think I was able to at least find that. That's still in existence. So right there, it was crazy because I even tried to look up the neighbor's name was put in the article and I couldn't find him. So I gave it a shot. Unless they mention it somewhere, I'm not going to be able to find the specific spot. The girl, who was identified by her parents, was found Thursday morning in the southwest neighborhood known as Bunn Park. Albert Milton said he found the body, so that's the neighbor, Albert Milton, said he found the body against a cyclone fence behind his garage as he prepared to mulch leaves. And she was propped up, much like that other one. Remember case the other night with the girl that was killed in where it was the police were trying to set up the black guy for the fall guy, but the jury was actually smart enough. But she was propped up inside that against the wall in that one. Boyce was a 7th grader at Grant Middle School, had not been to class Wednesday but was present part of Tuesday, said Elbert Betts, the school principal. Murphy said no other marks appeared on the girl's body except some bruises which may have been old. The clothes were found at the site, leading investigators to believe she was killed elsewhere. No clothes were found there. So the thing is there was no clothes found at the site. How can you say sexual assault? You know, it had to have been, okay? She was moved there after, and the clothing is somewhere else. The girl was wearing only red ankle socks when she was found in an alley about 10:30 a.m. About an hour earlier, garbage collectors spotted the body as they passed by but thought it was a mannequin. It's scary, said one resident. We never had anything like this happen before. Yeah, and this is an article from 2009. Springfield police detectives, that last article, that was from 1987, so now this is 22 years later, or looks like 21 it says here. On October 29th, 1987, the body of 13-year-old Billie Lee Boyce was found propped against a chain-link fence in an alley. Oh, there we go. 1500 block. See, that just proves that I don't read these beforehand, because I like to have it be interesting to me too. So now we can type this in. Oh, shit, it flew across the world. Okay, hold on a second. Just a second. Oh, I hate when that happens. $1,500 Melrose Avenue, Springfield. There we go. I don't even know what country I was in there. That was... Oh, so, you know, that Bunn Park area was pretty close. So, 1500 block. Now, let's see what if you go 1600. Okay, it's right there. So that means it's on this block. And, it's right on this street here. And there's a chain link fence back there. And, you know, you guys know when somebody puts up a chain link fence, that sucker stays there for a million years. Yeah, there's a chain link fence back there. Let me just see. In an alley. So the chain link fence in an alley. So let's see where there might be an alley here. I bet there isn't too many. Oh, right back there. Right here. Yeah, see, that's against that chain link fence. I bet you anything that's it. The killer drove down this at night and then propped her up against that fence. I'd bet money on that one, on one of these fences here. Just kind of drove down this. God, it's so weird. It seems so similar to a couple other cases over the years, but there's no way in hell I can just pull that. Yeah, but it has to be on this block because it's in this block right here. And that's an alley there, right? Let's see if that's an alley there too. I guess that's possible. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's could be possible too. But they were saying the address they gave was on Melrose, right? Which is this road here, I think. Just want to read the sign on the. What's that say? Yeah, Melrose. So this is Melrose Street right here, for sure. And so it's this street. That's the 1600 block. And where was 1500? Okay, so it's actually, yeah, it's right here, I would guess, in an alley. I mean, I guess maybe, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, anyways, I think it's going to be this right here. That's my opinion. Might not be, but yeah. He said it was behind his, in his backyard against the fence. And then I'm pretty sure, although you got to think, like, how would a garbage truck be driving down? Maybe they did back then. I guess if we go back, let's see what it looked like. I don't even see it. Weird. 1993, I don't even see the, it's got to be there, though. Yeah, there it is. 98 has it right there. And a lot of times, that's where people would put their trash, on those back streets. So I guess it's possible that somebody drove by there, a dump truck, or some kind of a trash truck. I mean, look at, there's a car there. It's actually not too narrow. It's a full truck could go one direction on that. But anyways, let's get back to this. 6 months after the murder, police arrested Tony Ritz, a 24-year-old man with a long criminal record, but he never was prosecuted. Charges against him were dismissed in September 1988 after a delay. So I don't understand this part. After a delay in DNA testing prohibited prosecutors from taking him to trial within the required 120 days. But when they got it, didn't they just drop the charges and then get the DNA results and then bring charges again? I don't get it. Detectives now are relying on DNA to give them fresh insight into the case. Evidence originally collected at the scene has never had DNA comparisons completed. So here we go. This is another one that Colleen's mentioning because they do have DNA. Deputy Chief Clay Dowis, and so that now it's obvious that she was sexually assaulted. Boyce was last seen by a 12-year-old friend who had walked with her to the corner of 8th and South Grand Avenue. So let's put that in there. Hey, you missed Mary Lou singing you the Marilyn Monroe version of Happy Birthday. First, John Boy started it off. Okay, so this is where she was last seen. Right there. Probably picked up by a hitchhiker, assaulted somewhere, and then just dumped right around in this area. $1,500 Melrose. Okay. So it's going to be everything that direction. Boom. I'm going to put probably here. Somewhere in that area. Might not have been that far down. I would think the person wouldn't do that. They would pull in a little bit, bump her body, pull out, and leave. So she probably was a little bit closer. I don't think you'd want to get trapped in there. It's probably more like over here-ish. And I wonder if that kind of makes this house Yeah, they wouldn't have mentioned that one. It's got to be either one of these. I think this one would be listed on this street. Police said in April that they would be talking to people who knew Boyce. They said the time from the parting of Boyce and her friend was a key. Yeah, so they parted ways at that location. So, anyways, that was 2009, and, you know, obviously it hasn't been solved since then, so that's one of the ones that Colleen wanted us to take a look at. That one would be a good one, too. I kind of like the Eugene one so far because it's got such a perfect DNA sample, obviously. Okay, now we're moving on to the last one, Kimberly Starr Reed. Now this is a case in Illinois that where it's a black woman, and it's really got a lot of coverage. I was absolutely shocked. You know, 1996. And maybe times change, but if you go back anywhere in the 70s or 80s, you'd have like one article. But this one had a lot. And this one's interesting. It's weird. It's yeah. So here we go. I'll just read through these ones. This one, this was the last one I'm doing, but look at it's got quite a few PDF files in it there. So you're going to have to just suck it up and listen to me babble on, all right? Yeah. Yeah, rewatch the show. What do you mean, Tina? Yeah, it's I do like 3-hour shows, and I go over a bunch of different cases, so wanting me to stop the show and recap probably isn't going to happen. So what you do is you just continue on with the new case that I'm on, and at the end of the show you can go back and watch whatever you want. I don't allow rewind mode because when you do that there's like a 30-second delay, and then I'm not able to communicate, and I've lost my ability to type into chat for some reason, so that's even a worse disadvantage. Alright, a woman was strangled, and a second one. Well, mine's actually an intentional babble, Susanna, since I'm actually reading the article. When you're babbling, it's literally just all over the place. Hey, are you Aussie, Jesse? Got a lot of Aussies that watch the show. Good eye, mate. I know that's terrible. That's what I've been told. Crikeys. Hold on. I got somebody to time out here. There we go. Because you know that wasn't legit. All right, here we go. A woman was strangled and a second was beaten within 6 blocks and 90 minutes of each other Saturday morning on Decatur's east side. So that's crazy, right? There was another attack and then another one. In both cases, Decatur police say the perpetrator fit a similar description given by witnesses. Killed in the later attack was Kimberly Starr Reed, 30, of 630 East Decatur Street. And that is right here. So this location right here is where she was actually killed, in this house. And I think it's the one I was just looking at. Let me just zoom in here. That's 620. So, and I think you can see it on the door, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, that's the 6:30 right there. The girls and the victim were home at 3:30 a.m. when a suspect entered Reed's house. Yeah, I've got the trolls coming in. So look at 3 girls and the victim were home at 3:30 a.m. when a suspect entered Reed's house, Decatur Police Sergeant Jim Anderson said. The girls were ages 6, 7, and 9. They escaped the house and ran to a neighbor's home for help. When authorities arrived, they found her, Mrs. Reed, with signs of life, Anderson said. Crews from Decatur Ambulance Service tried to revive the woman and took her to St. Mary's Hospital emergency room. The woman was pronounced dead at 4:05 a.m., according to Macon County Coroner Michael Day. Day said, given the circumstances of the attack, he asked those performing an autopsy to examine the body for signs of sexual assault. Among the circumstances were the woman's age and that the attack occurred during a home invasion, Day said. The children who witnessed the attack, so the 6, 7, and 9-year-old, were released to an aunt after making statements to police. The suspect was described as a black male, 20 to 30 years old, 5 foot 8 inches tall, wearing a black jogging suit and pants, and with green and white striped shirt underneath. The man carried a knife, a police report said. Police know no CF. No, okay, it says O. There's a little something's cut off right there, but police know of no motive for the attack, and there was no apparent use of forced entry into the home, Anderson said. Police are investigating a possible connection with a home invasion and battery that occurred at 2:05 in the morning in the 400 block of South Moffett Street. Well, check this. Look how crazy this is. So that's where the murder was. But look where at 2:05 in the morning there was another assault on Moffett Street right here. So just right in this area here, okay? In that attack, a 26-year-old woman told police she woke up, felt a presence, and this is what this guy was doing. He was going into these houses. Absolutely, I think he's trying to kill the parent so that he can assault the kids that are in the house. Yeah. Hold on a second. Okay, good. In that attack, a 26-year-old woman told police she woke up, felt a presence, and saw somebody in her room. The suspect, described as a male, black, between 25 and 26-year-old, jumped on top of her and began to hit her in the head, Anderson said. The man was described as 6 feet tall, wearing dark jeans, a black or dark green jacket, the police report said. And what did that first one say? Wearing a black jogging suit and pants with a green and white striped shirt. And then down here, so it's the same person. Dark green jacket, and police report said. Children in the woman's house started screaming during the attack, after which the suspect fled, he said. On his way out, he grabbed a 12-year-old girl by the throat, causing a minor injury, Anderson said. It appeared the home's rear kitchen window had been forced open to gain entry. The woman suffered bruises from the attack, the report said. Police had no arrests related to the attacks as of Saturday night. Okay, then on the 16th, that was the 15th, that newspaper. It was the 14th was the attack, and every time there's an attack on the 14th, the story goes in the paper the next day on the 15th, and now we're on the 16th. Woman killed, second injured by intruder. A woman was strangled to death by an intruder within 6 blocks of another woman. But it's way closer than 6 blocks. But yes, you're right. It's within 6 blocks. Hey, it's within 10 miles, everybody. Okay? Yeah. I mean, I don't know why they're saying 6 blocks. Look how close. That's 1. It's barely over 1 there. 6 blocks would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Way different than that. That's right next to it. The intruder attacked and strangled Kimberly Starr Reed, 30, early Saturday morning, according to Decatur Police Sergeant Jim Anderson. 3 young girls in the home fled to a neighbor's house to get help, but authorities were unable to revive Reed. Police know of no motive for the attack, and there was no apparent use of forced entry into the home. Reed's killing came shortly after another woman woke up to find a man in her room. He hit her on the head before fleeing when children in the house started screaming. Anderson said the intruder also injured a 12-year-old girl in the house. Okay, now we're moving on to the next day, the 17th. They have a suspect here. A 29-year-old man worked in the neighborhood of 2 home invasions. One resulted in murder. One arrested in connection with one of the early Saturday break-ins. Anthony Scott Cook, who works at Joe's Market at 375 Moffett Street. So that's right there. Look how close that market is. It's right there. However, it turns out, well, they arrested him, and they break down the. Let me see if there's any other information on this one. 2 a.m. home invasion and beating of a woman in the 400 block of South Moffett. The Macon County State's Attorney's Office has not formally charged Cook with either of the home invasions. Police Lieutenant John Mickler said at a Monday news conference, there is no evidence at this time to directly link him to the homicides, but the 2 investigators are simultaneously being conducted. He also said that in spite of his arrest, there is still an active investigation as far as the homicide. Later Saturday morning, after the first home invasion, officers called to 630 East Decatur Street, where the lifeless body of Kimberly Starr Reed, 30, was found on her living room floor, a strangulation victim. She died at 4:05 a.m. 2 of her 3 daughters were... Listen to that. Listen to this, though. 2 of her 3 daughters were sexually assaulted by the man who killed their mother, Mickler confirmed Monday. He did not elaborate or identify which of the children, ages 6, 7, and 9, were assaulted. See, he killed her, then he assaulted, so that's what his whole goal was. Preliminary results of an... I'm laughing because these trolls are showing up, trying to get really funny, and it's just not working, Especially with names like that, Preliminary results of an autopsy do not dictate that Reed was sexually assaulted. See, the mother wasn't sexually assaulted, but he sexually assaulted the kids. Now, in the other case, he looks like he tried to pound the other woman's face, and then he grabbed the 12-year-old, right? Let's see. Police are appealing to anyone with information to aid in the investigation. There was no forced entry in the Reed's Decatur Street house. However, police are not commenting how the assailant got inside. Mickler would not say if Reed was slain before or after her daughters were attacked, or if there was evidence she tried to stop their assaults. I'm pretty sure it was before. That's the only thing that makes sense. The arrest warrant in connection with the earlier home invasion of Moffett Street says that the victim in that case had been... So they've, this whole article is about the arrest made here. Lewd acts. Initially, the victim believed it was her boyfriend at her bedside. This is the first case on 400, the other street, Moffett Street. Initially, the victim believed it was her boyfriend at her bedside, but then recognized from the man's build it was someone else. She asked the intruder who he was, And then the man climbed on top of her and started punching her in the face and head. The intruder threw a blanket over her face and continued to punch her, the victim said. As she began yelling for her niece, the assailant told her he would kill everyone in the house if she did not quiet down. The woman said the intruder got off of her, threw her bed over her, and walked out the front door. So she was just being too loud and not compliant. Had she been compliant, she'd be dead right now, and the children would have been raped. Okay, that's my opinion of it. I think she made enough noise and all that crap, and he got pissed off, and then he threw the bed on top of her, went out and choked the 12-year-old, goes out the door. Now he's huffing and puffing, waiting to find his next victim, because he's all riled up, and then he goes over to Kimberly Starr Reed's house, goes into the window, strangles her to death, and then assaults 2 of the kids. See? Barbarian. Investigation found that the intruder gained entry on Moffett Street by placing a 5-gallon plastic bucket under a kitchen window. Come on, Jay. Thank you, though, man. I appreciate it. He must have got a lot of extra COVID, a lot of overtime in the hospital, right? Anyways, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, I do like doing these kind of.
I got to work. Thanks Huzie for the show. Thanks
Well,
freaks.
well,
I
that-
enjoyed listening to Huzie when he maps out cases. Even though the subjects are dark, it's awesome to listen to how much he enjoys this aspect of his work. Peace out, homie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is the part that I think when you go through it like this and you map it all out, you really get a picture of what happened. Right now, I have a really good feeling of what happened, at least a good theory on what happened. Looking at that street, so we're still right here. We're still talking about how the guy got in the house. It says investigation found that the intruder gained entry on Moffett Street by placing a 5-gallon plastic bucket, which we all have, right? You know, the ones you get over at Home Depot, the orange ones, placed it under a kitchen window. So just, you can totally picture this. Then prying open a screen and raising an interior window. Associate Judge Scott B. Diamond found on Saturday that there was sufficient probable cause to issue the arrest warrant for Cook in connection with the Moffett Street home invasion. He set bond. That's how he got into that, I guess, the Moffett home. He set bond at $150,000. Cook remained jailed late Monday. All right. So I got that, and then we switch it over to the 19th. The arrest yields no charges. So this guy's completely cleared. No criminal charges are to be filed against Anthony Cook, 29, who was jailed in connection with an early Saturday morning home invasion, police announced Wednesday. Detective Commander Richard Ryan said Cook cooperated with the investigators and they were able to develop further information that weighed in Cook's favor. The home invasion is being investigated along with another break-in that left Kimberly Starr Reed 30 slain and 2 of her 3 young daughters sexually assaulted. Both offenses happened within 3 blocks of one another. Okay, there you go. It's actually, okay. So now that gives us a little hint, I guess. But I mean, it's really half, 1, 2. Maybe. If it was on this Moffett Street, I don't know if they're going like 1, 2, 3, like it was over here. I don't know. The address 400's right here, so the 400 block. A victim in the first home invasion in the 400 block of South Moffett Street told police she was positive Cook was the man who entered her home, according to an arrest warrant, but Ryan said that identification was based on the intruder's voice. She knew Cook because she claimed he made lewd sexual remarks to her as recently as September 12. Based on the information police developed early Saturday, there was probable cause, Ryan said, to arrest Cook on the first home invasion. We would have been negligent not to have followed up and made an arrest, he said. 2 home invasions, a murder and rape of one of the slaying victim's children. It was 2, though. Cook's attorney, David Massey, said he will not comment on whether he believes the arrest was premature. We've been able to provide enough information to the police and state attorney that he indeed had an alibi at the time these offenses occurred. We do expect him to be cleared of all of this, and we believed all along he would be cleared. Through Wednesday evening, Cook remained jailed because of a parole hold that was placed on him because of the police investigation. Yeah, but it was a false investigation. I hate shit like that, right? Oh, he's on hold because, under the conditions of his parole, he can't be arrested for anything. And when that happens, he has to stay in jail. Well, your arrest was bogus. Okay, so once you determine that, it should negate the charge. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, right? Don't you think that's ludicrous? Oh, yeah, well, he was on parole for something else, and... one of the things, one of the conditions of his parole are that you can't be arrested. If you are, we are going to hold you. So, we arrested you. We made a mistake. You weren't the guy, but you're still going to have to be in jail for a while because that's what the technical report says. We don't have the ability to be forward thinking or of any kind at all. We don't have brains. We're robots and have to just read what it says. I can't stand stuff like that. Police have jailed no one else in conjunction with the home invasion. A motive for strangling of Reed has not been established. Well, the motive is that she wanted to get you out of the way. The killer wanted to get Mrs. Reed out of the way so he could sexually assault the 2 children. That's kind of obvious. So when you say there's no motive, I mean, that's the motive, right? I mean... that's what these psychos do. All right, then 5 days later, woman's death confirmed a homicide. Jeez. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the first story that we covered tonight, just for about 3 seconds, you see anything that's weird in the title of this article? Hold on, where the hell is it? For some reason, the title's not showing up, but it said, "Dead body found inside a suitcase." All right, well, I think all he had to say was body found in suitcase, right? If somebody says, hey, there's a body found on the street, do you assume that is dead or alive? I don't think anybody asks a follow-up on that one. Yeah, we found a body in the street. Was it alive? Yes, idiots ask that follow-up question, right? If somebody says, gosh, we found a body in a dumpster, were they alive? Yeah, they were alive, and we referred to them as a body. Yeah, I mean, everybody gets it, right? I mean, it seems like some of these people think we're so dumb that they've got to say, hey, look, there was a dead body, as opposed to just a body in there. And when nobody ever says that, ever, okay? Yeah, I want to see here's what's going to happen. If you go to a press conference and you say, yes, we found a body in the middle of the street last night downtown. As soon as any person says, if there's any reporter that says, were they alive? You should immediately take their credentials and never allow them into the press conference room ever again. Okay? And that's my opinion. Thank you. All right, so anyways, here is this article 5 days later. Murder victim Kimberly Starr Reed had traces of cocaine in her system when someone entered her home and strangled her on September 14th. A coroner's jury ruled Reed's death a homicide on Wednesday. How is that possible? According to the DJ Fickey attorney, medical examiner, if you have a stimulant in your system, it cannot be a murder. It can only be a suicide because you have the ability to fight off your attacker. So I don't know what in the hell they're saying here because I know for sure cocaine is a stimulant. So there's no way that this coroner should have been able to rule this as a homicide, right? You just had to get a hold of the one in the DJ Fickey case. That lady should lose her license in 3 seconds. Just if anybody even heard her making that comment, you just bring her in the office. Hey, we're gonna have to let you go. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard written, or seen written or heard in my entire life. Oh yeah. If you have a stimulant in your system, you should be able to defend yourself. Therefore, it's a suicide if you die. What an idiot. Meanwhile, investigators continue their search for Reed's killer. There is evidence that is being analyzed by the state police science crime lab as we speak. Let's see. It is very active investigation, over 200 pages. Day said examination of Reed's body revealed cocaine in her nostrils as well as traces of the drug in her urine. She also had been deep skin impressions characteristic of strangulation. Decatur police investigators Joe Patton testified on Wednesday that an electrical cord from a fan was tied around Reed's neck when police arrived. Wow. The call came in at 3:30 a.m. That was only an hour after that other break-in, September 14th. Reed had a pulse when officers arrived. She died in the emergency room of St. Mary's Hospital. The cocaine could have maybe helped keep her alive a little bit longer. I don't know how that actually works, but it seems like if you had a stimulant in there. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. It was a suicide. The killer also sexually assaulted 2 of Reed's 3 daughters. The girls ages 6, 7, and 9 at the time ran to a neighbor's home for help after their mother was left unconscious. Coroner's cases ruled as a homicide. Oh, there's other cases here that they're mentioning, but not related, or at least not that I'm aware of. Okay, then about 2 weeks later, police following leads. The search for the killer and Kimberly Starr Reed remains a very active investigation. We have several good active leads that are being pursued. The 30-year-old Reed was strangled in her home at 630 Decatur Street. 2 of her 3 daughters were sexually assaulted. Betsy Stockard, who organized a public appeal to assist the children, said on Friday, "The girls appear to be fine, but I worry about them. What happened to them was devastating." Stockard said imagine that. Man, that can't be good. You see your mother get killed, and then the guy sexually assaults you. There's a lot of psychological issues, especially for the older 2, I would say that the response to the fund has been, they raised money to help investigate. All right, so now we're going to move to, it's November 27th. So it's cool to see that they kept covering this. But, not for years, but, for a good 3 months anyways. Police believe that Kimberly Starr Reed probably knew her killer when she opened the door of her home. I wonder if they're thinking that she actually did cocaine with this person. I don't know. Because if it's the same guy that was at the other houses, how would that have happened? It seems like it was more just a random guy. I don't know. When the man left, Reed was left dying on her living room floor and 2 of her young daughters sexually assaulted. A Crime Stoppers announcement this week revealed that investigators believe she knew the person who came to her door at 6:30. Now, it could have been that the kids described this. You know, and maybe it's somebody from the neighborhood that sort of knew other people, and then I don't know. But if you broke into the house, I doubt she's going to be doing cocaine with them. But I don't know if we heard that he broke into her house, though. Did we? This is the first one. They found Reed, no signs of life. Pronounced dead. So circumstance where children were the children who witnessed the attack were released. Huh. Well, anyways, what's weird is, you know, obviously the kids could have seen it and realized, hey, you know, it seems like she knew him. We didn't know him, but they seem to know each other. Maybe that's where that came from, since they witnessed the attack. This is still a very active investigation. Starr, 30, was strangled with a cord from a fan. The killer then went to a bedroom where her 3 daughters were located. One was sexually assaulted there in the presence of the 2 other girls, but the killer wasn't finished. One of the 2 remaining girls was taken to the living room where her mother was dying and was sexually assaulted. Oh, man. That just... This guy's a freaking monster. You know? I think this might make an interesting Nefarious episode. Because it's got enough info in it. It's crazy. Wow, so he sexually assaulted one in front of the other 2, then took the other one in front of her dying mom, who was probably suffocating with the wire from the fan around her neck. Man, that's just crazy. Reed is survived by 3 daughters, ages 6, 7, and 9. This is one case that the community should be outraged over and want to assist us with. Relatives of the victim say she would not open her door to a stranger in the early morning. Also, there was no forced entry, to her house. By publicly revealing investigators' conclusions she was not killed by a stranger, Mickler said it is hoped someone will recall. Well, here's the thing. If she's somebody that does coke, you know, she just would do it. She might know some of the worst elements in the community. So she may have even been familiar with this really bad killer-like person that lived in the area. The crime laboratory has become available to police. It is not known how long the man was inside the house before he attacked Reed. But police believe he is the same man who 3 blocks away and 90 minutes earlier broke a kitchen window and went into the bedroom of a woman on the 400 block of South Moffett Street. The victim, who was hit in the head, survived the attack that came just after 2 a.m. All the indications are that these crimes were committed by the same person. The time, pattern, and physical description are parallel. Yep. So this is 2 weeks later, 11 days. Tell police what you know. We'll only add our appeal to others made recently for people to come forward and tell authorities what they know about murders that have occurred in Macon County in central Illinois. Police have asked for information about the killing of Kimberly Starr Reed. Decatur police believe she knew her killer. We urge others to tell what they know of the brutal slaying of Herald and Review employee Karen Slover. Same for all the other homicides, some that date back for years. Unsolved killings fall hardest on the families and friends of victims. Please tell authorities what you know. Doing that may relieve your conscience. Alright, now we're moving. Now we're about 6 years later. That's her right there. This is 1990 or 2003. This one. We love and miss you from your daughters. Isn't that crazy? So this is them when they're, 14, or like 12, 14, and 20, That's just crazy, right? It's been 6 years. Well, not 20. How old are they? 6 something and 9, so 15 would be the oldest. It's been 6 years, but still it seems like a dream. Someone took my best friend away from me. Holidays and birthdays are my hurt days. As days go by, rainy ones are the best. They ease my mind, free of pain and stress. Sounds like maybe a poem, I don't know. I cast out reality, daydreaming. I see you smile at me. I'm scared for life. My heart is crushed. Deep down inside, it burns so much. As days go by, you're still a mother, sister, and a friend. Your legacy, memories of you will never end. Even though it's been so long, still I sit back and listen to your favorite songs. When I cry, we all cry, but never questioning why. We still love, miss, and think of you as days go by. By your daughter, Fallon Reed. Kimberly Starr Reed, Reed 30 was, this is just part of another article later on. Yeah, I could tell it was rhyming, but man, it's so sad, sucks. Anyways, Kimberly Starr Reed, Reed 30 was strangled at her home in the 600 block of East Decatur Street on September 14th, 1996. This is one from 2004. Police hope DNA evidence, which has been placed in a federal database, might help solve the crime. So here we go. That means they have a sample of DNA, and that's why Colleen Fitzpatrick is interested in this one. It's out there, they have it, and now it's time to do genealogy no matter what. In 2016, there's an article here. Let's see. The murder of Decatur mother of 3, Kimberly Starr Reed, is now 20 years in the past, but her brutal strangulation feels like it happened yesterday for those who are left to mourn Reed's loss every day, moment to moment. This is the toughest time of year, said Reed's oldest daughter, Fallon Reed, who was 29 now, but just 9 when the killers entered the family's apartment and strangled her. Strangled her mother with an electrical cord from a fan in the early hours of September 14th, 1996. And you realize it again, the pain when your mother is not there to see you accomplish things or meet certain milestones in life. And there's the girl that wrote the poem right there, Fallon. She is no longer there for us, and that is what makes it so hard. Fallon Reed and her younger sister, Onika 27 and Felicia 26, are all in the apartment during the apparently motiveless killing. Well, I don't know why they keep saying motiveless. The motive was to sexually assault the kids. You see what I'm saying? It's weird that they keep saying that. Motiveless killing of their mother at the hands of the family suspects by someone she knew. or family suspects by someone she knew. Okay, I was like, I'm so used to the suspect, but that's not really what they were saying. The 3 orphan children were raised by Starr Reed's devoted sister, Tanya Reed. That's pretty cool. And have gone on to rebuild their lives and have children of their own. Their mother would now be a grandmother 12 times over. That's awesome. While the family has moved on, it can never forgive or forget the crime that robbed their mother of their life. The Reeds want justice and a resolution. So does the Decatur detective, who has never stopped working the case and says he won't give up. Joe Patton had made detective just a year earlier when he was assigned to the murder in 1996. There was a lot of activity, a lot of leads as police processed the crime scene in the 600 block of East Decatur Street and gave the murder probe every effort. But those leads didn't pan out. Suspects were eliminated and time went by. The police had good DNA evidence and had it punched into the crucial databases that could cross-link, they're talking about CODIS, and never came up with a match. Asked if he was surprised the case hadn't been cracked by now, Patton said, "Yes, I am a little. I honestly thought we would have gotten some kind of a DNA hit or a tip that would have led us to the offender. I've been here 21 years and I've resolved every one of my homicide cases except this one. I'm not giving up." He's also got a solid track record of reaching back into the past to pull out some remarkable cold case results. Patton, 48, was part of the detective team working with the Illinois State Police Crime Lab that used enhanced DNA techniques to resolve another heinous Decatur homicide, the killing of Sherry Gordon, 12, and her 9-year-old cousin, Teresa Hall. They were sexually assaulted and strangled in an empty apartment while trick-or-treating on Halloween in 1984. Well, shit, you might be looking at the same... I don't know how old the killer is, but man. 25 years later, in September 2009, Decatur police had announced a DNA match that meant that they could finally name the murderer as Melvin Johnson, 45, a sexual thrill and serial killer who had died of cancer accelerated by AIDS in 2003 in Texas after a lifetime spent in and out of prison. He was also linked by DNA to 2 other Decatur murders in 1985 and 1988. Yeah, I like this one too. Maybe we can try to do both of them, really. I mean, so we've solved some cold ones, and we're hoping to get this one too, said Patton, referring to the Starr Reed case. Patton remains convinced somebody out there somewhere knows something that could help, even if it's only to give the name of a suspect who is now dead. We can exhume the body, get a tissue sample, and get DNA to compare with and confirm it, and then we'd know. But what worries him is that idea the killer is still alive, still at liberty, and still capable of killing again. It's one of my concerns. And a concern, too, for Starr Reed's family, Tanya Reed, 49, who raised her sister's 3 girls as well as 3 children of her own. This lady right here is you can call her a hero. I mean, she had 3 kids of her own and then took in 3 kids from her murdered sister and made it, you know. And now has, I guess, 12 what do you call them? Nah, I don't know what you call them. Great nieces? Or I don't know what you call them. You know, the children of her sister's kids. Yeah. Anyways, you look up in some male's face in the store or something and you think, could it be him? She said you don't know, and it's something we've all lived with since that night. But she also has faith in the police and the detectives she talks regularly, and who refuses to concede defeat. It's my hope we will find out who murdered my sister, and not just because my family deserves to know. but also because it will be peace of mind for the community. A lot of people knew and loved my sister. Yeah, and this is another article, basically the same deal there. So, man, I hope that's pretty cool. These are good cases that she sent for us to take a look at. So I think the Eugene one and this one. What do you think? So I'll definitely get a hold of Colleen. I wonder if, gosh, if they really reached out to... It seems like these people would be all over this stuff. Like, boom! Like, right on top of it. I mean, the DNA, well, one thing, though, I'm not sure what the ratio is for different minority groups using genealogy websites. So I don't know what that is. I mean, do black people, Mexican, and white people all use the services at the same ratio? I don't know. But it's definitely worked, so. Yeah, so those genealogy services is going to be the answer. All right, everybody, that's it. I've been on here for 3 hours yet again. God, you guys are lucky. And listen, thank you for all the people that aren't moderators anymore, that were moderators, for not making a big deal about not being one, because you're not going to be treated any differently or anything like that. It was just got to a point where it's like, wow. I mean, listen to this. I had 80 moderators, and our shows have, sometimes 100 and, it used to be almost 200 or 300 people watching, but whatever happened with the security issue thing, now it's like 150 to 200, and then you look at that and you go, wow. And, moderators are more likely to chat because they're comfortable, they've been here, right? So that's why it's just a sea of blue. Looks like an ocean. Nothing wrong with Blue, though. That's the dog's name. Hey, no problem. Glad you guys liked the show. We stayed basically on track most of the time, I'd think, right? Yeah, well, it's not actually your birthday where we live, okay? Your birthday's tomorrow, but I was just pretending it was your birthday today.
No, Gray, it's my birthday where I live.
Well, that's true. Yep, still gonna bug Jean when she makes her little comments. Yep. Time's a trip. What does that mean? Yeah, not too many trolls. We got a few there for a minute where they were logging in and doing a little game where you pretend that you just want to be caught up and everything. But that's cool. So, anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you to Zozo, Andrea Ruggiero Drum, Kit Kat, Sarita, Lee P, Rebecca N, Cairo with a cat eye donation. Oh! Brian Joe, Wayne S, Cindy Leon, Kit Kat, Gene Fish, Jay Case with a cat eye donation. Sooner History, Sarah M, Linda Howell, Patricia M., Lisa Wilkerson, Jessica Schuba, Zozo, and Jay Case with another cat eye.
Wow, would have been a pretty slow night without the 3 cat eye donations. And that's what makes me worried that, oh, maybe people were offended. You know, were people offended when they, you know, just don't worry about it. All right? It doesn't mean I didn't think you did good, too. I appreciate everybody that was modding. Doesn't mean you weren't doing well. Doesn't mean anything. But it went down from 81 to 35, I think. And it shows you really how few of some of those ones were ever even here anymore. So, anyways, all right, thanks everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you wash your hands, maintain your social distancing, and wear a mask when you're around other people. All right? Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah. As I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get you, wanna set you. Anything funny like an old projector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. My recipe is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. And I mean a venom spectre with a vector. On his pector, with all respect, y'all. Just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender. And I'll send it to you straight without a blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to it.
Alright, that was really cool. Man, that was a great show.
Yeah, that was, you know, it was okay.
Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean it was just okay? Well, you didn't like it?
Well, I mean, it was, you know, wasn't any different than the other shows, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Hey, that's bullshit. I thought that was one of the greatest shows in the history of mankind. I mean, if you ask me, it was right up there with it.
Oh, would you just be quiet? God.
Gosh, you know what, John Boy? You are so mean.
Oh, wow, that sounded pretty good. Good night, Mary Lou.
Gosh, good night, John Boy. So mean.
You know, I think Mary Lou did sound a little like she was upset, you know? It's hard to really know for sure. Hard to know. All right, you guys got 10 minutes of chatting around. How do you keep missing the live, Carly? It's freaking midnight, all right? Give me a break, huh?
Gosh, Gray, you're so mean. Sometimes people have other things to do, you know? Like see a movie or, you know.
Oh, yeah, movie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but if you're on the East Coast, wouldn't it even be later? It'd be like 2:45 in the morning right now. Why are you up there watching it? That doesn't make any sense, Carly Levine. Oh, God, that's crazy.
Would you just leave her alone, Mary Lou? God. I mean, I don't know either, but who cares?
I just have to know, darn it. Yeah, he does sound like that. Yeah, because people do treat him so meanly. Right, Gary Peters? You're so clever. Oh, God, you're so funny and fun. Oh, God, you're so funny. Yeah, but if you just got into bed, how come you were watching the show before that? That's right. You're a nurse, right? Are you a nurse?
Who knows?
A rockin' COVID Saturday night. Rockin' COVID Saturday night. Rockin' and Sunday night. We have to fight that COVID on a rockin' Saturday night. There is a blight. There ain't no type. It's not right. Rockin' a COVID Saturday night. No, I'm not here to fight. There's Billy Boy Blue. He lost his shoe. It's called whatever it's called. You get what I'm saying? By Kevin MacLeod. That's the name of the song. The name of the song is called Whatever It's Called. Jack and Jill went up the hill, each with $1.25. Jill came down with $2.50. Ooh! cover, sat on the cover, reader, curds and whey. A long game spider sat by the cider and said, hey, what's in the bowl, biatch? Hey, that sounds pretty cool. Oh, motherfucker, sat on the cover, reader, curds and whey. A long game spider sat down beside him and said, hey, what's in the bowl, biatch? Little Miss Muffet sat on her coven, eating her curds and whey. A long game spider that sat down beside her and said, hey, what's in the bowl, biatch? Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, Billy Boy Blue, that's an episode of Seinfeld. You remember that one where they just put the gas in and just kept driving until it stopped?
Just 25 more seconds, thank God.
Well, it's only 19 now, you idiot.
Yeah, but it was 25 when I forget it. Be safe out there.